Welcome back to another episode, to our final episode of Heroes of the Highlands. At least for now, this is the last episode of this little mini campaign that we've been running here on the channel, and I'm very excited to see how our characters tie up their adventure. I assume it's the end. Strange things could happen. The players could suddenly go off in some unexpected venture, but we shall see. Tonight, as always, we have Louis playing Boglach, Sarah playing Zell, and Cal playing Glut. And our artwork for the characters, as you see on screen, comes from Jessica Bowen, whose Instagram page is linked below this video. Throughout the session tonight, as with all the sessions in this series, the music you're hearing comes from the very talented Nerdius Maximus Studios, who creates fantastic tunes over on their Patreon. You can find a link to their Patreon and their Instagram down below this video. And the maps that you see, both the sort of more detailed city maps and the regional maps, are created with the website Incarnate. Where last we left off, our heroes had very successfully rescued the abducted werewolf Camellia, returned her to her the safety of her brother's Lycan clan, and then you had returned to the town of Lochilven to see how the revolution that you started was getting on. The last you saw of it when you left, the fighting seemed to have broken out in the lower portions of the city. Flames were leaping up around the Temple of the Fates. When you returned, it seemed that a day had passed and there had been fierce fighting. A lot of the lower portion of the town had caught fire, a lot of dead bodies, a lot of carnage, but the tyrannical order of the Silver Thistle, the knights that had enslaved the town, were beaten back and had been essentially holed up inside the Temple of the Fates, where they had taken hostage the elder of the Temple of the Fates. When you arrived, you headed inside, you battled the Silver Thistle Knights, and slew their captain, Captain Carlaw. As that battle ended, having saved the elder, who headed back outside to bear news that the battle had been won, we now find you all standing in the burning, kind of slightly smoke-choked interior of this great cathedral, the Temple of the Fates. The dead bodies of the remaining Silver Thistles lying around you, intermingled with the dead bodies of the townsfolk. What would you like to do?
First things first is I am gonna go over to Captain Carlaw's detached jaw piece, the bottom jaw, and I am going to rip out one of his canines and put the tooth into a little pouch on my hip. And you hear just a little clink as it fell, as if it is falling on many other smaller teeth as well.
A trophy for the collection, Glut?
Yeah, I feel like whenever I kill someone particularly evil, it's a nice reminder of as the good work that I've done this day.
It's a nice way of looking at it.
The giant sword that I found, did the knight have like a scabbard to go along with it?
No, he didn't have a scabbard. He had a kind of just like leather straps across his back. But you would probably be able to fashion a scabbard or have one kind of made up at one of the at the blacksmith or at one of the town's leather workers.
Okay, I'm just gonna like hold it like across my shoulders then for the time being, until I try and walk out the door and then realize I'm like bouncing off it repeatedly, but not quite realizing what the issue is. So just getting like frustrated and try to like force my way through the door. Yeah.
You can hear distantly outside the kind of raised voices, tired cheering coming from the remaining townsfolk outside as the news reaches them that Captain Carlaw is dead.
Wait, actually, we're meant to show the Wolfman that we killed this guy. So Glut's gonna go over and just they're gonna start punching Captain Carlaw's neck repeatedly, just trying to like detach the head from it. But I hear just like thunk, 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 thunk. As Glut doesn't think to cut the head off, but like try and punch the neck away, basically.
Zell's kind of gonna be like, Glut, you could use your giant sword to make that easier.
Oh, genius! And I'm gonna start like pommel striking the neck repeatedly. Which
Other end.
Oh, okay. And then, yeah, just with one, like, holding the sword on both sides, just going to slam it down onto his neck, slicing both my hands in the process because I'm holding the edge of the sword. But
At this point, the neck is pretty kind of like broken up from these multiple heavy blows. It's just this kind of like mash, but you bring that blade down in the process, taking 4 points of slashing damage as your hands kind of bite into the blade, but the blade cuts through and the neck of Captain Carlaw is severed. This very sort of narrow, pinched face peering up at you, the jaw still gone, the mouth kind of hanging open in this dark, bloody hole.
Actually, I just thought, Boglak, can you please hold this? I'm gonna like hold out like my big swords to Boglak.
I can try. I will fail to hold it in any way properly, but I'll kind of keep it
like
off
like
the
that,
ground.
just.
Kind of.
But yeah, Wolfman might not. He might want the whole thing. So then Glut's gonna carry like the head by the hair in one hand and gonna grab the rest of the body and hoist it onto one shoulder, even though like Glut's smaller, so like the feet are still dragging along behind Glut, and they're gonna take the body and the head and walk out the Temple of the Fates.
Zal will follow close behind.
Black will follow sort of pyramid head style, dragging the sword behind.
The sword makes a slight kind of whining, scratching sound as it drags along the stone flags, as the three of you step out, almost emerging from the billowing black smoke of the barricades, out through the doorway onto the steps. You look down into the square below, and you can see townsfolk peering up at you as they see the bloody trophies that you've dragged out from within the cathedral. You see Bitterstone, the blacksmith, just thrust her hand up into the air, the hammer clutched in her hand overhead, and behind her the remaining townsfolk begin to roar, uplifting their rudimentary weapons, blood-soaked spades, tanners, tools, pots and pans, anything they could lay their hands on, just thrust skywards as they see that the nightmare of the Silver Thistle's occupation is over.
Oh shit! Do you think these guys are wanting to fight us?
Oh,
No.
No.
Zell's kind of taken aback by all of this and kind of looks like she wants to run back into the temple. She doesn't like being the center of attention.
It's just a little threatening, don't you think?
I think they're celebrating us.
You see the elder
Swing the
Leland
weapons
walking
and-
towards you.
Who?
Leland, the elder, walking up the steps towards you. They're moving with a slight kind of limp. You get the impression they might have like turned an ankle in their flight out of the temple, although they don't seem to have actually sustained any severe damage. Their arm, which you saw was a little bit wounded inside, that they were like holding a bit awkwardly against themselves, is still being kind of like pressed there, but they don't seem to have drawn blood as they kind of like walk up the steps towards you. They kind of lower their head and go, "Well, I selfishly have to thank you for saving my life, but I think what you've done here is far greater than that. This could have been a bloodbath. If the folk out there had tried to storm the temple, they might have overwhelmed them eventually, but not before losing dozens more. Thank you."
We're just happy that the Silver Thistle won't be bothering you anymore.
Yeah, and there's going to be a bunch of wolves to kill you as well, so we kind of two birds, one stone this.
What's that?
Nothing.
Nothing!
No,
Zell's
remember
gonna, like,
the wolves were going to kill them all.
Hit Glue in the shoulder a couple of times. Like, no, it's fine. It's all good.
I'm sure the hunters have taken care of the wolves. Just the wolves, you know?
Leland looks
Anyway.
very confused, kind of glances, still quite dazed from their ordeal. They kind of glance from between you and goes, "My understanding is that Camellia was no wolf. This is pure paranoia on the part of the
Yes.
Silver Thistle."
Absolutely, and it was. You're completely right. There's no threat to the town.
We literally saw her.
There's no threat to the town!
I must say though, Leland, even if there was a wolf, there would be no reason to, be nothing but pleasant to this town. A member of your society. I feel that must be remembered.
Yeah, wolves are
We're
just
as
big
bad as the
dogs.
Thistles.
And what are dogs if not man's best friends?
Well,
As my companion says.
truth be told, we've had a far worse run of luck with regular mortal men than wolves around this town. So, frankly, as long as I don't see any wolves wearing silver thistles on their breast, I think I have no quarrel with them. Speaking
One
of,
thing-
we should seek out Camellia. I believe she'll be up at the castle, unless you've already managed to extract her.
We've already taken care of that. But one thing that Captain Carlos said that did interest me, and I don't think he had a reason to lie, was that someone in the town told him Camellia was a wolf. You don't know who that might have been or who would have done that, do you?
It's hard to say. Was this before they came down here, or was this once they'd entrenched themselves in the city?
They'd
I'm not
come
sure.
to the town because of this information.
They came seeking her out. Frankly, I'm not sure. From my brief interactions with Camellia and Rona and her family, they certainly never gave an outward impression of any strangeness. They were law-abiding and civil. I don't know who would have found this information out. You would have to have some kind of, I don't know, inside knowledge that most folk around here wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't think about werewolves before the Silver Thistle rode in and started telling us we should be worrying about them.
Okay, interesting. Thank you.
If you, truth be told, I see a very certain group of people in the city. I see those who worship at the temple. I would speak with perhaps Jack, the bloody claymore, or even up the Crone's Eye apothecary, the old. Well,
Tatiana.
yes, she's a strange one, but she was often known to, trade in information. She would often hear gossip that others wouldn't. You'd hear something from her long before it reached the rest of the town, so she might have more information.
Yeah, I spoke to her before all of this, so I might take a walk down there tomorrow. Because it's still pretty late at this point, right? We got back to the town at midnight, so I'm assuming it's a couple of hours after that at this point. So
Yeah, it's quite, it's kind of early hours of the morning.
yeah, I'll have a rest and then maybe go and speak to her.
Don't we need to speak to the dog man?
I think we're meeting the dog man at midnight tomorrow. Well, the next night. So
Oh. Okay.
so we have some time to rest and be in the city. Odd question. Looking at Leland this time. Do you have like a inconspicuous bag we can put that in? And then Zell's gonna point at Carlaw's remains over Gloot's shoulders.
Leland, very carefully doesn't look at the bloody kind of grotesque bundle in Gloot's hands and goes, yes, I'll see if I can source something. We might just have to wrap it up in some blankets, but we have some ceremonial cloths in the temple, which I've no doubt can serve for such an auspicious occasion.
Yeah, we don't want to be carrying a body around the city, so...
Very wise.
Why?
Or town.
Why?
It might scare people.
It's unsettling.
Yeah, but they were cheering for it a second ago, and now they're going to be scared.
Well, it's more just, we don't need to do anything with the body until tomorrow, so we don't want to have to carry it around
Well,
all day.
see. This is why people confuse me. They cheer for it one moment, and they're scared of it the next.
I know, people are strange.
People are
As
strange.
Leland ducks off into the temple to pick up the shroud to wrap the body, Bitterstone, the dwarven blacksmith, comes stamping up towards you guys and goes, "Well, it's over. You have my thanks. You did a fine thing here today."
Have our thanks. Did of the heavy lifting.
Well, it was
He just
heavy.
came in at the end.
We've lost a lot of good people, and we'll have a lot of them to bury, but who knows how many more we could have lost if the Silver Thistle had stayed in their power for however long they planned to stay. They were a brutal bunch, and I think that sooner or later, none in this town would have been seen as pure enough for their standards. People were
Trust-
reporting on each other. It was a bad business.
Trust me, the entire town would not be here were this all still here. So
Because of the dog people.
no, kind of, but also no.
The dog people.
Yeah, the
They had a
yeah.
plan. They had a plan. They wanted to lure the wolves into the town, and then they were going to destroy the entire town.
You see the very pale, tired-looking face of this dwarf just grow a shade paler. She goes, "What? Oh my god! So we were just bait."
Pretty much.
I guess that's why they were working in the sewers. I guess that's why the gate was reinforced. It was
Yeah, I would
No,
say
nothing
that
but
one of
sewers.
the cleanup jobs should be to go into the sewers and take away everything that they've put in there, because it sounds like it's bad. You don't
I
want
had
to eat it.
heard a rumour that they've been buying in dwarven powder. Combustible, explosive powder. It's quite experimental. But I assumed this was for some kind of weapons that they wanted to deploy themselves.
I think the town was the weapon.
Well, I'll go down into the sewers and take care of it. In the meantime, we need to find, well, Deneth Kalmar has not been found yet, and we need to try and re-establish some order in the town, bury our dead, and try to get back to normal.
You might find Deneth Kalmar at the apothecary. We kind of told him that that's where the battle was happening so that he wouldn't accidentally get himself killed.
Splendid. To be fair, the old man wasn't exactly in fighting shape. I'll head up
No,
to the
but he
Crone's Eye.
seemed to think so, so...
He's got fire. Did my heart wrong to see him crushed under the thumb of that wretched Carlaw. But, well, all's well that ends with us mostly alive. The bloody Claymore, you could head along there if you want to get some rest. Sadly, Jack didn't make it, but you can take rooms up there. It will be used as a hospital for the time being.
I'd be
Thank you.
happy to help out with eating people.
Do you have the skill of a healer?
I don't, but well, I know a couple of herbs and remedies.
That
to
would
ease the
be
pain.
greatly appreciated. If you can head along to the tavern, do what you can there, and then get a night's sleep, that would be greatly appreciated.
We will, thank you.
She turns away, and as she heads back down into the crowd, the elder hurries back out with this long, kind of velvety blue, quite sumptuous looking, expensive looking shroud, and goes, "This should do to wrap the body."
Perfect, thank you so much. Glute, do you want to...
Fine. I reluctantly wrap the body.
Hey, isn't that much nicer?
What I did, I just want to check the integrity of the cloth. When it's done, I want to go for like a big meaty kick to his stomach, like a big hollowing thunk.
You slam your boot in, you hear a kind of like crunching sound, and then you just see like a dark red stain spread out over the blue cloth.
But the cloth holds it though.
Cloth holds.
And appraising nods. Okay, some good craftsmanship.
It looks a bit less.
Yeah, Glut then
appealing.
realizes they've not wrapped the head up in the cloth as well. They're still holding the head in their other hand. They're like, well, I don't really want to unwrap it at this point. I'm gonna put the head in my bag.
Yeah, you know, as long as it's hidden, it doesn't really matter what bag it's in. Zell did
Yeah.
not want to put the head in her bag and have everything else she's carrying get bloody.
Yeah, Glut's bag is still just filled with bread, so I'm gonna have some more bloodstained bread.
I thought your bag was filled with bear traps.
And
Bear
bread.
traps and
Bread,
Bear
bear
trap.
traps, and a severed head.
You drop the
Oh.
head in there, and you just hear.
ton of crumbs come spraying and confetti.
Yeah, I'm just imagining like pulling it out and it's just covered in bear.
And crumbs and
Crumbs and
bear
bear
trap like teeth.
It's gonna make it look like he died in some bear trap accident.
What do you guys want to do?
I think we should head back to the Claymore and just maybe try and see what we can do, and also rest before tomorrow.
Yeah, no, Glut needs the beauty sleep.
So yeah, we'll start walking down and heading towards the bloody Claymore.
When you get back to the bloody Claymore, the streets are still quiet, but the Claymore is lit up with light. There's a quiet, kind of somber air in the centre of the tavern. A long table has been dragged into the middle, and laid out on it is the body of Jack the innkeeper, lying back. Several large kind of gashes in the chest from what appear to be multiple blades. Clutched in one hand an empty tankard, and in the other a sort of old, slightly rusted looking sword. As you enter in, you see a few people kind of standing around, nodding, paying their respects. But around on the other tables in the room are the very much alive and wounded townsfolk. People kind of clutching their knees and arms, makeshift kind of tourniquets and bandages on put around them. People are moving through the throng, doing what they can to help people.
I think Boglach will just slot in and try and help where they can.
Boglach, as you head up to like just the nearest table to you, you can see there's a couple of people standing around, but they don't seem to be medical staff, and they're just kind of handing someone, what they can in terms of like a little bit of water, a damp rag. You get up, you see the person lying on the table, kind of a familiar, quite short figure, and the figure looks up at you and goes, "Where's my fucking wine wagon?"
Oh no, we should get a cold. Could somebody pass me a cold compress? This person here is obviously a bad bump to the head.
The wine merchant kind of struggles up and goes,
No, you should stay lie down. Don't want to rush the blood to the head. That's cold compress. Anybody?
Someone kind of like pushes into your hand like a bundle of wet rags.
Kind of, as they hand it over, I'll kind of grip into the person who's handed me its hands, and be like, just place it there and just hold it there for the next hour, and then sort of like try and look busy and walk away to help another table.
The wine merchant slumps back on his table and goes, "Oh fuck it, I'll have him. I'll tell you, I'll have him." And then kind of like passes out again as they damn down, assuming this is just some kind of fever dream that's taken him.
I'll go over to another table and definitely scrutinize the face of the individual on that table and go, nah, we're okay. Be like, how can I help?
You start moving through the crowd, just going from table to table with a little bit more medicinal knowledge, a healing spell here or there, just doing what you can to ease pain, stabilize people. So a lot of the wounds aren't too bad. Some of them you can tell this might be more long term. Other people seem to have sustained burn wounds from attempting to storm the burning barricades. There was a lot of damage done. You notice that here and there are people who are wearing some of that very new armour that was bought for them by the Silver Thistles, but they seem to have been kind of absorbed back into the town. They either switched sides or have been kind of quietly forgiven for their sort of for being on the wrong side, and are being tended to just kind of among the others, although you notice that none of them are wearing their Silver Thistle badges anymore.
Do any of them look like they might have been like higher up in the Silver Thistle?
None
like
of them appear to be. They're mostly like the City Watch folk who kind of switched sides in the early days.
Okay. Zell's gonna approach a table with one of them on the table and kind of like start tending to them, like see what's happening. But then she's gonna ask, I have a really weird question to ask you. Do you happen to know where the information came about Camellia being a werewolf?
The half-orc kind of like beneath you blinks and goes, "Oh, I don't know about that, to be honest. I wasn't really high up in the organisation." Didn't you recognise that you're talking to the half-orc from the gates who you passed previously? Word just came down from the top that her and her daughter were Lycan, so I did what I had to do. We all just followed orders.
You sure?
Oh, Captain Carlo had many meetings with folk in the town. Anyone who was a major figure or someone with authority, he met with most of them.
It's a pity because if the person, I would be greatly indebted to the person who would tell me. I might even be able to slip them the address of Tatiana.
You have to tell me, who is this Tatiana? It's because she
I'm
is
sorry,
wonderful, as they say.
you don't have anything from me, so I would have to keep that information to myself.
I'll ask around. I'll see if some of the other lads know anything.
Thank you. We'll be in town tomorrow, so if you find out and you see me, I will be able to slip you the address of that exceptional lady.
Understood. And he kind of nods and then drags himself up off the table, like still blood like dripping from one of his wounds, and goes, "Hands off me now, hands off. I've got work to do." And starts like moving around the room, like talking to people in low voices, then hurries out the door, like stroking his chin.
I feel like Glut would just walk by this entire scene with the body and just head upstairs and go to bed.
Look, you just head up into the darkened upstairs area of the tavern, find a quiet bedroom, slump
Doesn't
down onto the
concern me.
sheets,
Yeah.
and get a well-earned rest.
Glut's
like
art
his,
is more in inflicting wounds, not healing them.
I was gonna say, I feel like as Glut is drifting off to sleep, you'll hear like thudding of something on the staircase, and then like the door will open like blinding light, and it's just Boglaf dragging in the massive sword, covered in sweat. It's like kind of just dumps on the ground and then walks out again, closing the door.
Yeah, once things have kind of calmed down a little bit downstairs and Zelle's been able to help where she can, she'll also head upstairs. Well, she'll pay a nod to pay some respects to Jack, and then head upstairs herself.
Boglak, you head up as well?
Yeah, I think Boglak would have tried to do, while going around like helping people, try to do what Zell was doing and just like ask if anybody knew about the information. But if nothing comes to light, we'll kind of just retire as well. This is a dead end, so to speak.
In that case, you all eventually, after some of you, after a busy night downstairs, doing what you can for the wounded locals, you head upstairs, find your rooms, and you all get a long rest. You awake next day with slanting golden sunlight pouring through the window, the distant sound of bird song, and distantly the rattle of wagons in the street, the sound of hammer on wood, saws moving. It almost sounds like a normal town outside your windows.
You know who doesn't have a wagon to rattle along the street?
Zell, stop reminding me. I feel so bad. I swear I thought they were outside my room yesterday. I saw two like shadowy footprints under the door. I was terrified. There's nothing like someone with a vendetta.
I'm sure it'll be fine. We only have to spend one day in this town. It's a big enough town. We can avoid them.
It only takes one day to slice someone's throat, or
I mean, it's not like he has a wagon
in
to
front of a
take
car.
with, so...
True, if we got a wagon, we could stay ahead almost the entire
I'm
time.
not stealing another wagon!
Oh, I didn't
to
even steal.
I'm not
Maybe-
buying
maybe
a wagon.
Maybe I should just go and say, and I'll go down and find I'll wake up like early, like after having this conversation with Zell, and I'll go down and find the gnomish. Go down and like, I imagine they're still quite, I don't know, ivory on the table or something. And Boglaf will just go up and go, "Your wagon was instrumental in taking down the people who took over this town. Did not survive. The horse did, thankfully. So we have that to be thankful for."
We do have the horse. Did we bring the horse?
The horse
will be
bolted.
around. Oh.
Well, the horse is gone, but the gate was wide open, so
Paws
The
away
horse
the grit
survived,
from his
but
eyes.
it's gone.
I tell you what else that wagon was instrumental to. My livelihood.
I mean, think of all the good it did.
What good did it do? Explain it to me.
I didn't see what happened. I only saw the aftermath, but I'm sure it was instrumental. I know it because, it wouldn't just be destroyed for no reason. You not have trust in the faiths.
I'm told by some of the other folks around here that you lot did some good last night. And, I
Your
don't want to
wagon
judge
did
you
some
too
good.
harshly. Well, I appreciate that. My wagon appreciates that. But, I will say, my main business is delivering wine, so I'm a bit of a pickle.
Oh, maybe this is a new venture in life, Maybe you believe in the fates. I don't, but do you?
I'm not maybe not as pious a fella as some folk, but I get down to the temple when I can.
Oh, it must be fate. It must be fate that I took your wagon. Well, used your wagon for the greater good. And yeah. So I don't know. Maybe just follow your dreams now.
Wow. My dream was to own a tavern, but I was saving up money from my business eventually to try and open one. But that's gone now, I
Guess
guess.
what? I heard there's a new tavern in need of an owner. That's fate. It's a shame that Jack had to die for your fate. You should maybe think about that and take over this tavern. About what fate gets you if you're so against it.
The wine merchant kind of like strokes his chin, looks a little thoughtful, and goes, "Oh, I'll have a think on that. I'm sorry if I spoke harshly to you when you were trying to help me last night, but I guess we're even now."
I was dressed as a thistle and quite mean to you, so I would hope.
You said you hated me personally.
I was trying to inspire anger as a thistle.
It
I
worked. I killed quite a lot of them.
don't. Again, I mean, I'm starting to turn. But I still hold nature dear. But yeah, glad you forgave me. This went way better than I thought. And it's on you from now on, eh? Whenever visit.
Well, I don't own the tavern yet or anything. I'm just lying in it bleeding. But I mean, if they're looking
Don't
for a
order
new
wine,
owner,
that's all I'm saying. You know what I'm like with wine.
I do.
Anyway, is that Zell? There's just no Zell.
Zell's upstairs reading.
Yeah. I better go and check on Zell. They what? Yeah. Bye. Just walks off.
Oh.
Slumps back on the table.
Go up and just say to Zell, it went really well.
Well, I didn't hear any fighting, so that's good.
Thought it would be a big confrontation, but it turned out that just by saying the truth, speaking from the heart, so to speak, don't know, it worked out quite well. Maybe I could take that lesson forward in a personal quest of mine or something.
Maybe you should. Speaking from the heart's never a bad thing.
I mean, something can be bad.
Can it?
Yeah, you can say that, fine.
Say what?
No, you can just speak your heart and forget all logic and say, your sister looks nice.
It's bad to compliment someone's sister? I'm really confused.
It was just, I said it to my wife because they did look nice, but my wife took it the wrong way, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, did you explain yourself? Or did you just leave afterwards?
I had to, there was a wagon outside taking me on my quest here, so...
So that's how you left things with your wife?
I mean, extent. I mean, the last words that she said, as I've said before, were, I can't quite remember actually. This is all too much. We should go and actually stop the werewolves attacking.
Yeah, let's do that. Zell's gonna put the book to the side.
I'm just bad at
She was
words.
reading.
Can I just
That's
don't,
okay.
canonically, the last thing Boglak said to Boglak's wife was, "Your sister looks nice," and then got onto a wagon and left.
She got mad about it and he left.
There's more to it. It was we'd already been
No wonder she sent a letter saying we need to talk.
Oh, because there was an awkward air. Like we didn't want to talk about me leaving. So I went blank, and then I was like, oh, her sister was doing something in the house, and I went, oh, your sister's looking nice today because her sister's been having a rough time of late. So it was it's good to see her sister back on their feet. So I said, oh, your sister's looking nice. My wife took it the wrong way, and it was like, do you have anything to say? And I went, well, my wagon's outside, and they went, you always run away, you always leave. At which point I did run away and I did leave. Well, not run away, but I left. Canonically,
Yeah.
that's what happened.
Did Boglak just say all of that to Zell? Okay. Well, Zell's gonna put her book to the side and kind of like dust herself off and be like, well, if it helps, the last thing I ever said to my mum was that I hated her, and then she died. And then she's just gonna walk past and go downstairs.
That's awful. Boglak will do that thing where they like follow behind and they're like,
Real.
do you want to talk about that? Or I guess maybe you don't, but
No, it's fine.
you obviously didn't like your mother.
I loved her. We were just having an argument. And
Terrible
I don't wanna-
cautionary tale.
well,
Wife-
exactly.
wife-
So that's why I feel if you have something you want to say to somebody, you should make sure you say it, because you never know if those are going to be your last words to that person forever.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at this point, Glut then opens the door to their room with like the corpse and the hogged over just one shoulder and the big sword in the other, and just be like, "All right, so we're gonna go into the sewers and catch some rats."
What?
What?
Yeah.
When was that the plan?
There was stuff in the sewers, and I heard there was rats in there. I think we should go and see the rats.
Why don't we leave the body here for the day? We don't need to carry it around the city.
Because this is evidence. What if someone steals it?
Who's gonna steal it?
I don't know. Someone. We know that there's someone suspicious among us who ratted in the wolf lady. Someone could be trying to steal this inconspicuous lump of meat.
But nobody knows we have it.
Yeah.
Apart from the Temple of the Fates guy, I guess he knows, but nobody else knows we have it.
I don't know. I don't even know if it's ethical to leave it here. It smells really bad.
I don't want to carry it around all day.
Like I snuggled up with this thing last night, and it smells
Why would
awful.
you do that?
It just felt right. I worked hard for this, so but yeah, I don't know. I feel like whoever is gonna come up here is gonna be like, oh god, that smells so bad, and then come and see this and be like, oh, I'm gonna get rid of that stinky thing, and then we have no body to show.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I don't want to carry it around all day. But you can.
This is my burden to bear.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go and catch up with Tatiana at the apothecary and see if she knows anything.
Okay.
Does any
and then we go see the
or-
rats.
I'm not seeing any rats. I don't need to go to the sewers.
Okay. Fine. I'll come to the apothecary.
You don't have to. You can go to the sewers if you want to.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Come to the apothecary.
Guess
Are we all
going
going
to the
then?
apothecary, yeah.
Cool.
And as-
So
and
Zell's
as-
gonna.
And as we're walking out, I'm going to look at the gnome from yesterday, or from the other day, and be like, I remember when I destroyed his cart for literally no reason. As we're right as we leave the tavern.
There's kind of like a
Just goes like
grunting sound as the wine merchant pushes himself up and goes, I swear I'm going to, and then you go like, head out the door and the door like shuts behind you.
that. It wasn't for no reason, Glue. It was a very good reason. It's just
It was
that
very instrumental in us
it wasn't,
escaping
it
the
wasn't
castle.
for wasn't for a particular reason, but it added to the good. It was part of the good reasons that led to the
I
good
genuinely had no reason. I just thought what could make the most noise and shot it.
But that then. And then Zel's gonna just trail off because she has no idea what happened. She wasn't there.
Could have killed the horse though, Glut. I thought you were partial to animals.
No, I didn't aim for the horse. I aimed for the wagon.
But what if the
The horse.
explosion had killed the horse?
Glow's gonna like drop to their knees and have like their hands to their face for a moment as they're having
It
this like,
didn't!
horrific realization that oh god, like
It didn't though!
The corpse flops off the shoulder, and be like, oh yeah, I didn't even think for a second.
An arm falls out there.
I kicks it back in. Starts whistling.
Oh yeah, well,
But you didn't! I just mean you could have, but you didn't. The horse ran away. It's fine.
oh geez, yeah, my actions actually do have consequences on other people or animals.
Sometimes.
Oh,
Sometimes.
For sure.
that's a lesson learned. Next time I shoot a ballista at a cart with an animal attached to it, I'll stop to think, what if I hit the animal? That's the
Okay.
lesson learned here.
Good way to think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great way to think.
Okay. And I'm gonna.
So it looks like we've all learned some lessons today. Except me. I have no lessons to learn. I'm perfect. But we've all you guys have learned some lessons.
Okay. I felt a bit needless. don't know why I'd rub that in.
Let's just go to the apothecary.
Yeah. Then we go see the rats, and I'm gonna pop the corpse back on my shoulder, and after seeing Boglak drag the sword pyramid head style, Glut thinks that's really cool, intimidating. So Glut's also gonna do the same.
You set out through the town, Glut, body over one shoulder in a blood-stained bundle of sort of now crusty, dried, blood-soaked cloth, sword dragging along behind you, little sparks flying up off the stones as the blade runs over. You looking around, you can see people are with a will just trying to return to their normal lives. Burned out buildings are being boarded up, and in some cases, simple repairs are being made. You can see people swarming over rooftops, nailing new slates down and new shingles into place. Carts rattle by, loaded with timber and bricks and supplies. There's a grim quiet to the people as they walk by, but there's a steady kind of like motion of as they try to put right some of the damage done over the last 2 days. And you make your way up through the streets to the small storefronts of the Crone's Eye Apothecary. Are you just heading in?
Yeah.
Is there like a place where Boglak can post that letter that you had on the way?
Yeah, so on the way up you pass what appears to be a small... well, Boglak, I imagine you've posted similar letters to this in the past.
Yeah, I don't think so. Boglak has never sent a message home so far.
Oh, well in that case, give me just an investigation check as you kind of look around the town on your way up.
Sweet. Gonna be Evan.
You find you kind of like you're not able to see anywhere particularly that you would be able to post a letter, but on the way up you kind of catch a passerby and ask them, and you're told that there's a small post yard down by the gate where if you head along there on your way out of town, you can drop off a letter, pay a small fee, and it will be carried on to its destination.
Thank them and continue on to the apothecary.
The apothecary, just as it was last time, is dimly lit. There's a strong smell in the air as you step through the door. You sort of open the door, then there's a heavy curtain which you kind of push past, and then you step into this interior. There's the smell of something kind of like almost like a heavy incense in the air. You can hear a pot bubbling somewhere in the back of the store. The walls lined with gleaming jars. The ceiling thick and festooned with dry ingredients hanging down bunches of herbs and strange roots. Moving through the store, you see this small hunched figure emerge from the back of the store, pushing aside a curtain and stepping out behind the counter. The owner, Tatiana, looks up and goes, "Well, you've come back in one piece."
And so have you.
I never left the store. You see, I try not to get involved in a hands-on way.
Did you get visited by Dennis Kilmar?
He came by, but I couldn't keep him here for long. He was so excited to get into the action, so I sent him on his way.
To the battle.
Wherever it was he was headed, seemed like a man with a purpose. Dennis Kalmar. They say he was a very, a very easily manipulated man, but I always found him to be rather tenacious, curious, the sort of fellow who would always go where the action was.
We were trying to keep him away from the battle because we didn't want anything bad to happen to him, so we sent him here instead.
Well, last I saw him, I think he was on his way to save the town or something like that.
He didn't spend the night?
No, Dennis and I have had many long, interesting conversations, but no, his path lies elsewhere.
Did he say if he was going to the sewers to see the rats?
No, I don't believe he did, but I tell you, if I see any of the rats, I'll ask them.
Speaking of rats, we were when we killed Captain Carlo. Nice way to put that. But he mentioned
His
that some...
body's right here, and I'm gonna like go into my pack and like pull out the head that's like again got like the bear trap. Like, it's like there's two different bear traps attached to it, so it looks almost like a bit of like a victim of a saw trap kind of amalgamation thing right now. As I just like hoist it up.
There's a moment of pause, and then Tatiana goes,
Good, good. You're so very efficient, Glute, aren't you, precious?
Oh yeah! Oh, stop.
Won't you stay for tea?
Yeah. I'll stay for tea.
How did you know Glute's name?
I know many things. I like to keep my ear to the ground, you see. Come through here, dearies. I'll pop the kettle on.
Okay. Sel's gonna walk through carefully.
This
She leads
lady
you
looks really nice.
round the counter, through the curtain, and into this quite surprisingly large back room. Looking at the house from the outside, it was a relatively cramped building, kind of like tucked between many others in the street, but going through this room was like much wider than you expected, and stretching back towards a large hearth embedded in the wall. Over the hearth is bubbling a sort of heavy metal pot with some kind of thick, viscous, sort of dark reddish liquid in it. She kind of goes over, checks on that, and then takes a large old cast iron kettle, places it on the embers, and sets the water boiling. She goes,
Have you any preference for your tea?
What do you have?
A variety of herbal, a beautiful chamomile, mint, jasmine, all the herbs you might find in the forest and beyond.
Do you have any mugwort tea?
Mugwort, excellent choice.
and she takes out a little kind of like dry brown pouch from one of the many shelves that line the walls, takes out a few small kind of like twisted dry roots, places them into a cup and places them down.
So, what more do you have to do in town before you leave?
Well, as I said, speaking about rats, one of the things that Captain Carlos said to us was that someone had told them about Camellia being a Lycan. And we were just wondering if you, being a person who knows many whispers, would have an idea on who that might be. Who informed them?
Say I hear everything, but, well, word gets around sometimes. This Captain Carlaw fellow, he had a bit of a reputation. I imagine that, maybe someone heard about what he was up to, wanted to lend a hand. I'm not sure.
He pours out 3 cups of mugwort tea and slides it across to you guys. Hunches down in a small threadbare armchair in front of the fire. There's a couple of other little stools and armchairs settled around the flames. She goes,
Anyway, things seem to be moving in a new direction in town. I hear that lovely blacksmith is being talked about as a new leader, you know?
Good. Good.
I always liked her. She's open-minded, very fair, very, well, the sort of person you want in charge. The Kelmars, they're very entrenched, very hard to get rid of once they've wormed their way in. But they, well, they're old-fashioned in their values. I think the town needs a breath of fresh air, don't you?
I mean, I don't live here, so it's really not up to me to decide who should be in charge. Well, now the Silver Thistle are gone.
I mean, I was going to say I personally hate the Kelmars.
Oh, you're a fan of them, are you?
I hate them. The Kelmars are a stain upon many a clan. And the lengths I would go to get rid of them.
can you give me a persuasion or deception check, depending on how you're feeling?
I believe they're both the same. I mean, I'll say persuasion, because Boglak is trying to do something. I think it's persuasion because Boglak there is probably like wee bits of clan, clans don't like this clan,
Enmity.
that he can sort of tap into rather than it being fully deception.
Clan beef.
12.
She kind of nods and goes,
Delmar, they're not exactly the, well, they've been in power for a long time. Deneth was one of their high command. A very, pious fellow, always worshipping at the Temple of the Fates, and not very strong, if you know what I mean.
Rather someone strong in charge.
I'd rather someone with an open mind. The blacksmith, she's been coming to me for years for remedies and tinctures. I helped her brother when he was ill, and we got to know each other after that. I've made sure that she's, well, an excellent character. Fit to rule, you know?
You always seem to be one step ahead, it seems.
Well, I always like to keep an eye out for what might be coming down the road, you know? Whether that's...
Did you
Oh?
Did you predict the Silver Thistle coming down the road?
Remember,
I don't know if you need to predict something if you make it come true, no?
come now. I think that at this point things have worked out very nicely. You're heroes. You've saved the town. The Silver Thistles are all dead. And Deneth Kalmar and his various investigations will be on hold until further notice.
What do you mean by investigations?
Oh, Deneth had some strange idea. that there was a coven of some kind active in the area. Hags, you know. There's a lot of prejudice among the Kelmars. They see the wise as a source of suspicion, whereas I see the wise as a source of knowledge and progress. But anyway, I didn't have much to do with Denneth in the later years, especially once he was under the thumb of the Silver Thistle, so if he shows up, I'll let you know. If you want, though, I can have a word with this, this character who you might be doing dealings with now, this werewolf.
I was going to ask how you were going to deal with that problem.
Can be very persuasive.
You come out and meet them with us?
You think I might be better meeting the fellow alone? It can be very unreasonable, but a strong word from me, and I think I can help him see the light.
I mean, we seem to be on his good side.
And Camellia didn't come to any harm. She's well. And aside from a few unfortunate deaths in the town, I think Lochilven is more united than ever.
So well.
It's worked out well for everyone apart from the Silver Thistle.
She lifts her cup and goes,
I'll drink to that.
And how close an eye do you keep on things? You've not been hanging us, have you?
Oh, no. Well, I like to know who's in the area. And I have my eyes, my ears.
Well, you spied on us enough to know our names. Or at least Gloot's name.
Listen, I'm an old lady and I hear some things sometimes. I don't see why we need to dig any deeper than that.
It's just surprising that in a day, or a couple of days since we got here, you've managed to find out our names, but you didn't know who informed on Camellia?
Good idea who informed on Camellia.
yeah. Sips, turns around that, sips her tea.
It's a good plan. What do you want now? That we arrange a solo meeting with the head of the pack so that you can everything up nicely?
When he arrives, send him up here. I'll have a word with the boy. He's a raucous type, but I think he can see sense.
I was going to say, I know it'd be best to bring a werewolf into the town. And right now the town seems quite happy. You don't want to prove the Silver Thistle's right. I mean, if things go wrong or if they transform to fight you or anything, I'm sure you'd be able to take them down, but anybody sees that and suddenly the Silver Thistles are proved right. It's actually them in the town.
You know, there's been a lot of
outside.
There's been a lot of concern about lycanthropy in the town. The minute people saw a werewolf, they might completely freak out, and then there could be another town revolt. Lochilven doesn't need that right now.
Not the sewers. You'll be able to get in from outside the town from that access port. You can go from the town. It's secluded. You take them out. Easy.
Very wise. Why don't you bring him down to the loch? Bring him round. There's an access point that flows from the castle out to the loch. And bring him into the sewers, and I will meet there to parley.
You'll be in the sewers.
So, we're going to the sewers?
Are going to the sewers.
We are going to the sewers. Zell's gonna say, sadly.
I told you today we were going to the sewers.
Yep. As a small, unrelated sidebar, my power has just flickered there, so if I suddenly vanish, it's because we've had a power cut.
No worries.
Oh no.
Anyway, I better be getting around with business. I've got some people to see, some whispers to hear, but it's been a pleasure. Thank you for whiling away a little time with an old woman.
Thanks for the tea.
I will be in the stores at midnight.
Okay.
I'm gonna chug my tea and then get out.
Yeah, Zell finish her tea and then leave as well.
Too many big words going on for me.
Black will have not drank a sip of the tea. Just be like, this work doesn't agree with me.
Tatiana gathers up the cups and kind of peers at the untouched one and kind of looks at you and goes,
You Caldornis folk were always a little superstitious.
and she
I say it was the way I was raised.
tosses the cup onto the coals as a kind of as they land on the hot hearth, and then she puts the cups away and ushers you out.
All right, so when we're back on the street, Glitch is gonna be like, all right, so that was a lot. I don't quite know what's going on here, but did she say we get to go to the sewers?
Yes, she did. She did.
This I can get behind. All right, so
We can't let it.
we're going to the sewers now.
Black's
No.
going to try and lead you away from the
Yeah.
apothecary.
No, so sewers now.
I'm still thinking.
For a
That was
bit.
a lot to take in. Why did we go and... I feel like we need to talk somewhere private.
In the
Could you-
sewers.
could
I
you-
bet no one's in the sewers right now.
Or we could go to the Temple of the Fates, maybe. You know, just
Let-
to check
let-
up on things, but also a place where, you know, people might be
Let-
looking down upon us.
Let's go to the Temple of the Fates. Then maybe the sewers, Glute.
Well, sewers
Okay.
will be involved, Glut.
Okay.
You're going to like this idea, I
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, I think so too.
You head to the
Okay.
Temple of the Fates.
I don't know if it'll make any... Boglak will say this in character, but we'll say, I don't know if this will make any difference. Hags can be a little bit superstitious as well.
Wait,
that was a
that-
hag, no?
You think that was a hat?
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
I thought
And
she, like
those are no good news.
that's not
And-
it's not a nice name to call someone. She was just giving us tea.
Did anyone else assume that she was the one who informed on Camellia? Or was that just me?
Oh, 100%. This is I mean, it's a genius plan. You have to congratulate it. You hate the Kelmars, you want them out, so you spread the rumor so that the Silver Thistles show up. At the same time, you're kind of making a new heir to take the throne.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be one step ahead, and if you're able to keep an eye on everything, then really it's not even about magic necessarily. It's just getting people in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely.
Who's the
Level
new
of, like,
heir?
And we unwittingly
which is good.
sent that Kalmar right to her. And we haven't seen him. They said he didn't come to the battle.
Kamar, I imagine, is dead.
Yeah, 100%.
I think he might be in the sewers.
Could be in the sewers. Now, personally, I can't allow, in good conscience, a hag, indeed a coven, which is what was kind of suggested, which is, see Boglak like shiver. Like, I can't, no. Plan works now, but how many people died for that plan? And the plans change, and they're chaotic, they're not good.
I
No,
don't
shouldn't be
think
in
we
power.
can... I don't know if we can take down a coven.
What? So
You
what?
can.
What is a coven? I'm unfamiliar with this.
Usually 3 hags.
And
They're all kind of joined and a bit like us, like their strength comes from them as a party of individuals.
Oh,
together.
but you know, so their power comes from the bonds they form. Why is that so bad?
Well-
We're. I wouldn't like to think there's people out there trying to stop us and think that we're evil.
When you're walking down a road and there's a rabbit in front of you, Glut,
Uh huh.
you get a feeling in your stomach where you're like, oh, no, don't want to kick that rabbit. I don't want to hurt that rabbit. It's just in my way. If you just went and kicked the rabbit, that's what a hag would do. Kind of just like,
A hag would kick the rabbit.
imagine so. They're just something in their way. They're going to take it out.
Glut's gonna like
Am I
hoist
wrong
their
there,
sword
or-
onto their shoulder and like look back over to the apothecary and be like, "You think that woman kicks rabbits?"
I think she does a lot worse than kick rabbits, Glute. A lot of these people use spells, right? And surely, like, do they not have animal parts in them as well?
I didn't even think of, maybe we shouldn't break to Glut the fact that I use some animal parts in my spells, I'm pretty sure.
What? Use animal parts?
I'd love
Why?
if this ended with Glut.
Why? Why do you use animal parts in
I
your
don't know.
spells?
You see Boglack like frantically searching through their component pages and spells to see if there's anything that uses it.
Do you
I
harm?
honestly don't know.
Do you harm animals? Like when you say animal parts, like if it's like hair or something like that, that's fine. But like, are you like harming animals to like salvage their components for spells?
No, I believe a lot of the spells I use come from, like for instance, I cast darkness. I have to use a bit of bat fur, but you can harvest that without
Okay,
hurting the animal.
fur is ethical. Fur is ethical. Okay, sorry, this is a lot for me. So basically,
But the hags
Yeah,
probably do use animal parts.
So evil magic women are wanting to get rid of the silver thistle and impose themselves via some sort
A
of
puppet.
I didn't even
Yeah.
think of that,
Power.
but actually, they are putting a puppet into place.
Essentially,
Yeah.
yes. And I like that blacksmith.
Yeah, but that blacksmith should be.
So sorry.
Willing for their own.
I get. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of just zoned out. We're in there because there was a lot of talking going on. What's the dog man got to do with this?
She wants to meet the dog man.
Lord.
And are we gonna let that happen?
No, because she's gonna salvage him for parts for her magic,
Probably,
for her
yeah.
hoodoo voodoo. No,
Are we're just gonna leave her? Let's just leave her in the sewers.
no,
Here's the
no,
thing.
no. Here's
I don't think we can take on a hag.
yes we can. We can. We can kill a hag. I will tear her limb from limb. I will rip off her leg and beat her skull till it's bloody pulp with it.
Right.
Okay, Glute,
I'm saying
calm
we
down.
could.
I have no
could.
doubt that you could take down a hag. Let's
Why
just
don't-
take a few breaths. Let's
why
just take a few breaths.
Okay, we do the good old the bait and switch is what I think it's called, where we get the dog man and we play along with the plan, but then when they think that we're playing along, we then play our own play, which counterplays their play. Therefore, we play the scary evil magic woman.
Why don't we just tell Lycan, the person who ratted out her sister, is the old woman who's going to be in the sewers, and just bring the pack?
Yeah, I think we should do that.
Bash.
Did I not just explain that? Like
That was essentially
it was, but I'm
We
just-
both got the
there's a
same
lot of-
idea. Let's do that.
There's a lot of
Dog, like,
cross plans.
I feel like I explained that very simply, and you've just went and complicated it for no reason.
Oh, it's don't know. It was confusing me at the time, but maybe my mind's just on other things.
Okay.
I didn't expect
yeah.
a hag to be in the mix. This town's quite. There's a lot happening.
Yeah.
I know. I really can't wait to leave, guys. I know that we saved the town from one thing, but now we have another thing to save the town from, and I just
I just feel like
I just want to go to the Organ Isles.
I just feel like we've done a lot for the. Well, we've tried to help this town a lot, and I feel like if we then leave and we're like, cool, the hag has a puppet in place, that's,
I don't like that because she's then gonna order everyone to like harvest the animals for her evil magic spells, and I
I
can't.
just have to. I don't know if hags do kick rabbits on. It was a metaphor for empathy.
They do use animal
And
parts
how
for their
people would-
spells. That's not a lie.
I'm pretty sure I heard from a friend of a friend that hags kick rabbits for fun. Like you saying that made me remember. Made me remind me of hag kicking rabbits.
Look, the thing is that there's a lot of. I just want to clarify it because if your anger is at using animal parts and spells and stuff, and I don't want to. If you have that as a vendetta, there's a lot of people in this world. I'm sorry to say that you are gonna have to cut down if that's the mark that you are laying.
I'm glad you
ravaged
told me this.
countries.
I'm glad you told me this information, but you know what? Like one brick at a time is
Well, that feels like Obi-Wan at the moment with Luke when it's like the lava scene. Like, see Boglak looking towards a knife on their belt, and it's like, if I end this now, Luke, trust me, I could take Luke out. Maybe it would save all people that use animal parts in their spells. Boglak won't do that, so that's really the butterfly moment for if years to come. Glut is standing on a body, tens of thousands of bodies of people that use animal parts in their spells. Boglak's like, no, what did I do?
One day, another D&D party is going to have to try and take out Glute.
who is banning all magic.
Yeah.
Amazing bad guy, but anyway, I'm getting off track.
Yeah.
A vegetarian gone wild.
Yeah, do you have any vegan spells? All right, so we speak to the pack. We show them the dead guy. We tell them that there's a hag nearby kicking rabbits to enlist the help of the dogmen, and then we meet the hag with the dogmen and kill the hag, and then
I guess.
that lets the smith then be a champion of the people. But also,
all we need to tell the dogman, Ranach, is that Tatiana's the one who told him about his sister.
So for me personally, I would feel much more emotionally affronted to learn that she kicks rabbits. But
I know, but it's his sister, and he probably doesn't really care about the rabbits. I mean, he might. I don't want to assume, but
okay.
You have at this point returned to the Temple of the Fates, stepping inside and finding a quiet corner kind of near the front to sit in one of the pews away from the other people nearby to kind of continue this conversation. You can see that the barricades have been cleared away. There's like black marks on the ground, but most of the blood has been kind of scrubbed away from the stones. The doors are still broken off their hinges, but you can tell that there's someone, as you're walking in, you see a half-orc sort of measuring up the doors, evidently getting ready to fit new doors into the frame.
As I bring the body back to the doors, I'll be like, guys, remember when we killed this guy in this very building?
yes, Glue.
Good times.
Peaceful times.
I think my favorite part was killing the Goliath thing. That was a good moment.
That was cool.
So at this point, you now know that you have, at midnight tonight, the pack of werewolves arrive at the city gates, expecting to meet you. And it's entirely up to you what you want to do to prepare for that meeting. In the meantime, you've got about probably around about like kind of late morning at the moment, so you've got basically 12 hours.
I should probably.
Don't think Glut would really have anything to do prep wise. I think Glut is just Oh, actually no. Glut is gonna test out their new sword, get a feel for the weight of it, go for some practice swings. Is there anywhere it's kind of the Glut can go just to kind of do some one man sparring practice?
Outside of well, actually, you could go up to the main castle. Up in the castle courtyard, there were So there are dummies built up for this very purpose. So if you wanted to, you could head up to the top of the town, to the castle, which is currently kind of open to the public and being kind of co-opted by the locals, and head in and start fighting some of these wooden.
So what I feel what Glut would do is that Glut would do that. They're gonna go to Castle Lockbane and start like hitting the wooden dummies, and after a while be like, this just isn't simulating real combat. Realize she brought a corpse with her, tie the corpse to one of the wooden dummies, and just start like attacking that with the sword instead, just like slicing it up into like, going for like stabbing thrusts, going for like big overhand cleaves, going for sideways strikes, just seeing how well this sword can cut into the body, but then without even realizing it, that the corpse has literally been cut up into like tens upon tens of just smaller pieces now.
There's not really any blood because the body's been dead for some time, so you just hack off these smaller and smaller chunks of stiff, kind of decomposing flesh in the side of the practice yard. People are kind of bustling in and out of the main keep, and they kind of like glance over you. At first, people kind of go, that's one of them. That was one of the folk who saved us. They started the rebellion. And then people start seeing what you're doing, and the voices kind of go quieter, and people just kind of keep their eyes down and like hurry past. At one point, the blacksmith, surrounded by various other locals, including the elder from the temple, kind of pass by in conversation about the matters of the town, disappear into the keep, and you're able to pass your time practicing away up there. Is there anything you want to do, Zell, Boglach?
Zell is going to go and buy some arrows.
You can head.
She definitely needs to.
At this point, no one in the town is going to charge you for arrows, having performed the service that you have done for the town. So you're able to restock your quiver with no problem.
Perfect. She probably took way more than she normally would then. If they weren't charging her, she'd be like, can I have everything, please?
You can also there's also like an armory up at the castle that you could raid if you wish to.
Boglach, what are you up to?
I feel like Boglach will catch the postcard and then, we'll probably try and see if there's any better armor up at the castle maybe, or that they can swindle a wee bit.
Yeah, Zell will head up to the armory as well.
You guys head up in the armory. You find that it's kind of been quite a few items have already been like looted out during some of the sort of initial period after the fighting, but you're able to find quite a few items still lying around. You notice, Zell, a number of arrows kind of in. They're kind of like set away from there's large barrels of arrows that would have just been used for general target practice, but then you also find these like other smaller kind of like cloth wrapped bundles of arrows, and looking at the tips of these arrows, you can see the tips are engraved with different runes. You see there are 3 arrows engraved with a little rune that looks a little bit like a flame. There are 3 arrows engraved with what appears to be a little snowflake on the end, and there are 3 arrows with almost what looks like some kind of twisted vine, like a thorny vine on the end, carved onto the tip.
Okay, she's definitely going to take all of them and put them in her quiver. And basically just as many as she can really carry.
Boglach, are you looking around as well?
I'll see if there's anything crap.
As you start kind of like scouting through, you find a couple of like items like lying around. You notice what appears to be a suit of armor, largely constructed out of like kind of overlapping plates of wood and softened leather. That seems to have been put together almost as like a prototype for some other construction, but it's been left together and it actually forms like essentially it's almost like plate armor made out of overlapping pieces of wood that was maybe at one time was going to be like removed and replaced with metal, but would actually kind of function as a slightly kind of cumbersome but effective set of wooden armor.
Yeah, Boglach will. I think Boglach is quite worried about this evening, so we'll want some extra protection, so we'll definitely take that.
Excellent. You also notice the kind of the bustle of people going in and out of the keep. Every now and then, Bitterstone will kind of let pass by, being in conversation with various people, builders coming up to discuss the imported supplies needed for renovations in the lower town.
Can I grab a hold of Bitter Stone as they go by one time?
Absolutely, she kind of glances around and goes, "Oh, it's good to see you. Have
See
you
you too.
had a time to rest?"
Yeah. I mean, we were looking for Deneth Kelmar, but any sign of the
We've
fella?
not seen him, to be honest. My guess is he might have fled town if he broke
You
out
to a
during the
Kelmar to
fights.
flee, eh? As soon as things get hot.
Well, it was an old man. Can't really blame him. There was fighting in the streets. I imagine he grabbed one of the horses from the stables and set off. Probably went back to Camp Kelmar. I assume they'll probably send a delegation down, but in the meantime, some of the folk here have suggested that I hold down the forts, just until the Kelmar representatives get back.
Good to have a clear voice to guide us through. As long as there's no whispers in the ear, eh?
Well, to be honest, I'm not very cut out for this kind of thing, but I prefer the simplicity of steel and forge. But if I have to step up, then I'll happily step up.
I think you and you alone are for this job.
Well, until
You
Deneth
have
returns.
my understanding to it.
I appreciate your confidence in me. If
You
you'll
think you
forgive
take
me.
on any advisors, or
Oh, I mean,
you don't know quite how to do this job? I'm not suggesting myself for the role. I'm just wondering.
to be honest, I've not thought that far. I mean, right now everybody's advising me. I've got Leyland in one ear, I've got some the master of the Builders Guild in the other ear. It's just it's a lot to take in. But as I say, it's a temporary situation,
Yeah. So, yeah. Get a read on Twitter at all? Do they seem
Yeah,
quite?
give me an insight check.
I'm quite sure what I'm looking for. I'm intrigued. 14?
She seems genuine, tired, stressed, and does not seem to expect to be in this role very long.
Zell's
Mind
having
if
fun
I-
with arrows in the background. Just as a sidebar, that's what she's up to. She's playing with her new arrows.
Would you mind, Mr. Stone? I'm sorry to do this, but I've been doing it to a couple of people around the town. If I just quickly did I know a spell that basically is able to, if there's any lasting injuries, it's an old superstition of mine after battle.
I mean, I've got a few cuts and bruises, but I think I'm fine. But on you go.
More for disease and stuff like that. You know what me and my good kind are like. We're always thinking about disease.
I did inhale
Always
quite a
wanna
lot
go
of
on top of
smoke down on the barricade, so that might be a bit of hoarseness in the lungs. But on you go. I appreciate your help.
Can I try and cast detect magic on Bitterstone?
Absolutely.
Don't know if they'll know what it is or whatever.
No, I mean, you're not hiding the fact that you're casting it, but as you cast it, she kind of stands there, almost sort of looking down expectantly at herself to see if anything's happened. And
Any faint aura?
you don't pick up any aura of magic on her.
I go, nothing. Seems like smoke's good for the lungs.
Well, to be honest, more than anything, I'm just a bit shaken by the whole thing. I don't think I've had any lasting damage. Listen, I've got to get on. There's a lot to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Listen, I do want to say though, thank you. I think better days are coming to this town. Even long before the Silver Thistle showed up. Things were fine, but we were... Well, the town wasn't prospering. We weren't growing. New folk weren't coming in. My hope is that
maybe this is a fresh start. In a clean state, we can start turning things around, you know?
E.
Well, yeah, aye, the town, you know, we can stand together and with the Kilmar's help or without, I think we can make this town a prosperous place again.
You'll find it hard for the Kilmars to give up town.
Well, they didn't have any interest in helping us when the Silver Thistle had us under their thumb. I mean, I don't really believe that there was no inclination back at Camp Clamar of that we were under the influence of this order, but they didn't seem to bother. Folk often say that Loch Ilven is at the end of the road, and at the end of most people's priorities.
I'm just glad that the two of you can ensure in the change that this town needs.
Well, it won't be the two of us. Once Deneth gets back, I won't be standing with Deneth. He'll be the main figure in the town.
I meant you and the town. Did you refer to as a collective? Yeah.
Aye, well, you know, we work together, we thrive together, I hope. But I will be on my way. It's been lovely talking to you, Boglach, and you and your companions. Thank you.
Say hi to your companion as well.
She nods and heads off into the crowds.
Kind of go over to Zell and just be like, I don't think Bitterstone has been, at least from what I can gather, isn't under any sort of spell. Either they're completely unaware that they're being used, or they're completely complicit in it. I don't know. I think without Tatiana, Bitterstone. Oh. Just don't know, Zell.
We're never going to have all the answers, and there's always going to be something that needs saved in a town. We can't. I just want to go to the Orcan Isles, Boglach. Just want to go. And we keep getting sidetracked. I want to be finished with Loch Ilven. I feel like we've been here for too long, and now there's another thing that we're getting dragged into, and there's a coven with a hag.
That's why I was like, just set the werewolves on them. Because then we can just leave. We could be in horses. You know? Maybe there'd be a nice thought montage of like werewolves ripping apart.
Let's hope that's what happens tonight, because I swear if we end up stuck here for a few more days, I might actually lose it. I just want to go to the Orcan Isles.
Black kind of nods solemnly, and then turns around and kind of looks at Glut and goes, I don't think we're leaving, buddy.
Nah, we're killing scary, evil magic woman. We can't good conscience leave.
Some of us would.
If there's nothing else you guys want to do during the day in preparation, you can pass the rest of the day just kind of resting up either in the tavern or up at Castle Loch Ilven and prepare for midnight.
Yeah, let's say we do that. Maybe go back to the tavern and just make sure we have everything. And
Glut would probably just continuously train, just not non-stop. Just they want this new swords to feel like an extension of themselves, the same way that diplomacy did.
There is just nothing left of this body by the time you're done. It's just like
at least we have
diced and sliced.
Boglach has hidden the head and seeing what has happened, just to make sure. I would say as well, just because Boglach, it could be the final night. It's a big foe to go up against. Boglach will, on their way back to the tavern, past postcard, like written this letter that's like long and very like jumbly, but they'll wrap it up. They'll just write a new letter that just says, a friend of mine told me to speak the truth. We'll just say, what I actually wanted to say before I left was, I'll miss you every second I'm away. And then just say, love Boglach, and then send it off. Just head back to the tavern and, see the gnome lying on the table and quickly turn out again. Take out a pipe and be like,
Are you little?
be like, oh! Close the door again. Is that gnome not... Nobody fixed that gnome yet? It's 2 days.
Zell's
Need a cleric
upstairs.
stat.
Zell's upstairs reading Volume 1 in the Arms of the Pirate King.
I'll just read my book out here. Where did it go?
On that note, let's take a quick break there and jump back in once we've all refreshed our cups of tea. At this point, the rest of the day passes by uneventfully. You get your rest at the. You can all benefit from a short rest, but I don't think you've actually expended anything since the long rest. And whenever you're ready, you can get up as darkness falls, as the bell at the Temple of the Fates rings out closer and closer to midnight. You can head towards the gates.
Yeah. Just as we're leaving the tavern, Zell's gonna just be like, "We all ready for this?
Oh, hell yeah.
So,
We've got the head."
Yeah, I'm gonna reach in my bag and then just freeze, be like, fuck. Guys, someone stole the head.
oh, I've got it here.
Oh,
Nice
you got
bag.
you got it back. Oh, Boglak. Angel, thank you. Sorry guys. I thought I could be trusted to look after the book, but I was wrong. I'm sorry guys.
Oh no,
Okay.
you genuinely did. It's just I didn't want you hacking it up.
Oh. Okay, fair. Yeah, can't fault you for that.
Okay, so we'll all start walking through the town to the gates to meet
The dog man.
the dog man.
You arrive at the gates to find them open. Glancing up, you can see they have a sort of an odd mechanism on the exterior. The outside of the gate has brackets in it for a large beam to be laid across, the sort of thing you would lay across behind a door to brace it in place from attacks from the outside, but this has been flipped so it can be essentially bolted from the outside. The door is standing open as you step out past the city walls into the cool night air around you. Looking down, the path winds away across that kind of natural dell before it rises up into the trees. There's no one on the road at this time of night. There's one guard sort of slumped by the gate, kind of glances across at you, this older dwarven gentleman wearing the town watch colours, and goes, "Hey up."
Oh,
Hi.
Hello.
Can I help you?
We're just
No, we're
meeting
just going for
someone
a walk.
here. Yeah.
All right. And he kind of like sits back down next to you.
I think they were.
Glow is like profusely sweating, like, see ya.
They
And
heading
just
away
like,
from the gate.
Yeah, we'll head maybe down the path a little bit.
but like, guys, I think we
meet-
really played. I think we really played that one off. I don't think he was any wiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we done good there.
You guys can see in the shadow of the trees, just at the tree line on the other side of the dell, several sort of shadowy grey figures kind of lurking beneath the tree line.
Full moon.
It is a full moon.
Mm.
And pardon me, no, the full moon would have been last night, so it's very close to a full moon. It's like, looks almost full, but just a little off at the side.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Zell's, I guess they'll just head a little further down to the tree line, waiting for Ranach.
As you get down there, the several figures step forth from the trees. Most of them kind of like hang back. You see the tall, kind of like shaggy-haired figure of Rabbit steps out of the darkness and walks towards you. He's still barefoot, but is now wearing kind of like a loose-fitting, kind of like white shirt over the top. He walks up and goes, "Well now, what news do you have for me?"
Well, we have a present for you. And she's gonna nudge Boglach.
Okay, that's fine. I'll get it. Fuck.
Boglack's like
Someone stole the head.
been over this before, Glut, and Boglack will, not wanting to, will reach in and bring out the head.
Ravik reaches
With
over.
the bear trap still attached. They still
And the bottom
there.
jaw missing.
Swearing slightly as they like catch one of the bear traps and like, oh, kind of like, oh, don't want to know what's in this bag. But here's a head with its jaw missing. One of the things in the bag.
With no hesitation, Ravik just like takes the sticky, semi-decomposing head into his hands and goes,
Good. Good. You did a job better than I could have done it myself.
It's all good.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna
Yep.
start slowly prying the bear traps off the heads. Just be like, let me just get that real quick, and pop
I
the bear
think
traps
it-
back in my bag.
Added a little style to it, don't you think?
Yeah,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, but I kind of need them back.
I know. You've done a great service to me. You've killed the man that I had to kill myself. There's one other thing, though. Do you know who it was who informed of my sister and a child?
The bunny booter.
What's that?
We think. Ignore that. We think we know. It's not 100% confirmed, but we're like 90% sure.
Nah, it's
Of
her.
who
She's evil. It's clear. She kicks bunnies. There's no stopping her evil deeds.
And we have actually arranged a meeting with her in the sewers.
Who is she?
Evil magic woman. She kills animals and uses them for her evil incantations. She lied and said that the dog woman was a dog woman and got the silver thistle in the city in the first place, and now she wants us to I can't remember.
Oh, you've almost got it, Luke. Come on.
You're
doing
nearly there.
incredibly well.
Evil magic woman wants to control the city and wants to meet you, and you take your parts for spells, maybe.
We're not 100% sure, but
She
she
wants-
wanted to meet you. She
And
wanted.
it's the most sensible explanation. Is that you're a big guy, you're huge and like part wolf, so I can only imagine the spells that your parts would make must be big spells.
I won't lie to you, I don't know what the little one is talking about. I think
Okay.
I think I get the gist. There's a powerful sorceress in the town who has attempted some kind of coup. And as
Yes.
part of her machinations, she decided to inform my sister.
We think so, yes.
Yes.
So you did get what the little one said.
Yeah, that
There was
was
a
pretty much
lot of
everything.
stuff about harvesting dogs that I didn't really pick up.
Okay, we kind of to get doesn't matter.
Aye.
And there's
The
rats in
important
the
thing
sewers.
is-
We need to go to the sewers with the rats.
Where is this sorceress now?
We said we would meet her in the sewers with you.
Just
I
me.
think you
She wanted just you.
she wanted just you, but I think that you should bring the rest just in case things go south.
I
Just a
think
couple.
this is something.
Because the original plan of the silver thistle that we worked out was that they were using Camellia to lure all of you into the town, and then they were going to blow up the whole town.
Well, I admit that we perhaps rushed in a little more headstrong than would have been wise. You
Yeah.
seem to have gathered the intelligence that we needed.
Yeah, you would have all died, all of you.
I don't know. Let's go and see this remarkable lady.
You want us to come along?
Why are you not?
No, we're coming. We're coming to the sewers. The sewers with the rats.
You don't have
Yeah.
to.
No,
We are
no,
more
No,
than
I feel
capable of
if we're
dealing
this
with
involved, we should
No,
we
we
should
need-
see this out.
They promised me that we would go to the sewers with the rats.
Yeah, we did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Quack will just like laugh and shut up. Just be like, are we going to the sewers?
Sewers with the rats. Sewers with the rats.
But the
How
sewers
are we
is
getting
also the sewers is also where all the explosive stuff is. So we have to be careful. I don't think they'll have cleaned it all out in a day.
It's actually quite a high stakes situation.
It's an incredibly high stakes situation.
It's fine. The rats will help us.
Right then, lead on.
I know, that's the one person we've missed out completely.
Do you want to do anything preparing for the day? Nah, just sort of hang around.
There's a pipe at the lock which goes into the sewers.
Yes, if we go down to the loch, there's an entrance there to the sewers.
Let's go.
Are you wanting the rest of your people to come, or are we leaving them out here?
If there's to be a vengeance had, I will take it myself.
Maybe
Okay.
you should bring. Do you have a friend who is particularly fond of your sister that maybe wants vengeance too?
What about,
Yeah, like a
vengeance bubble?
general of sorts. Maybe you
Yeah.
should bring just like a couple for backup. This
But I
is
was
a
going to turn
powerful
to the crew
lady.
and go, anybody else want vengeance right now? A couple of.
Do you
Like
not
someone for
think
vengeance?
I am capable of defending my family?
I
Yes,
do. It's just for people
absolutely.
want vengeance.
Take me to the sewers.
I would say this lovely cat that's showing up.
You want to take Simba to the sewers?
Oh, that's a very cute cat.
Hang on a second. He wants to be on
Guess
my
we're
lap.
going to the.
Oh.
Guess we're going to the sewers. With just the one.
Werewolf, I feel
Strategically, I feel like this is suboptimal. I'm not. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel if there is an option to bring a couple more of you with us, we would have more people on our side.
One of the most remarkable things that I've noticed about you people is that you keep trying to negotiate with someone who does not want to negotiate with you. Do you think I lead my pack by taking suggestions from the commoners?
Commoners who rescued Camellia, brought her back to you, killed Captain Carlaw, and managed to incite a whole rebellion in this town, and get the information that you needed. A little more respect would be nice. Zelle's in a bad mood because she is stuck in the town. So
If it's easier for you, I can go down myself and take care of this, if you've got places to be.
No, we don't. We don't. We do have a place to be. The sewers. Sewers with the rats.
this sorceress said she was part of a coven. Did she actually say she was part of a coven? I'm sure she did.
Mentioned their coven.
So it could be that she's not alone.
Yeah.
We're just trying to look out for you here.
I help you.
Are you
Don't
taking me?
negotiate.
I do not negotiate. I am going to kill this sorceress myself. I'm not going to beg
but there's a
lower
high.
members of my pack to back me up.
Right, okay. But if she ends up killing you, and, you know, you could have stopped it by bringing more people, I'm just going to say that I'm saying in advance, I told you so.
If
Well,
I
let's
die, then it is my weakness that has earned me a swift and premature death.
But we might die because we've double crossed for you. I don't
And
even
you're not
particularly
very
like
grateful.
Okay,
You. Just
give
all
me
sort
a
of I pack is what I. You know, I could do that too, but
Give me a
it's not a help
persuade-
situation.
give me a persuasion check. I would say one of you can make it at advantage since you're both combining your efforts here.
Let's say
Okay.
Boglash just sort of like hurtling
Okay,
insults. from
well, the
safety
first
behind
one was-
Zell.
The first one was 12, and the second one was 3. So we'll go for 12.
Yes. How about this? I will bring 4 of my finest warriors down with me, and I'll station them outside. If we need them,
Yes.
we can call them. If I die in battle, you can call upon them to aid you.
Yes, okay, thank you. That would be great. That's all we wanted.
Turns around and goes, you're with me.
4 of the werewolves peel off from the trees and come down to join them. You see 2 of them appear to be human. One is a half-orc and one is a halfling. The 3 of them the 4 of them sort of step up next to their leader and turns around and goes,
Very well then. If you're satisfied.
Let's head down to the loch.
Isn't it nice to live like the common people?
As they're walking down, Zell's gonna kind of idly say to the halfling, like, so when you turn into a werewolf, are you, like, half the size?
Halfling goes, well, there's only one way to find out, eh, Missy? The pause and he goes, but also yes.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to know.
A little but terrifying wolf.
Oh, I bet. I've seen a were haggis once.
Very rare, very rare, those were haggis.
Yeah, they are. They are.
You come down onto the sort of shallow, shingly beach that runs along the base of the cliff. The cliff comes down into the waters of the loch. And you can see, as you walk along the beach, this sort of rounded copper pipe that juts from the rock. A thin trickle of dark water pouring out of it, rolling down the stones and into the loch water. The cliff rears up overhead, the turrets of the castle kind of black against the dark sky.
As they approach, Zell's just kind of be like, "Ugh, I was really hoping we were going to manage to avoid the sewer system."
Glut is gonna Glut is kind of giddy and is gonna straight up just try and get into those sewers as fast as they can.
As you all step into the sewers, the four sort of reserves hang back, and Rabbit turns around and goes,
Remember, if you hear a word from these friends here, you know to rush in. I will be dead by that point, but you can fight it out afterwards to see who leads the pack.
nods. There's very little kind of emotion between them. They're just kind of nods, and Rabbit turns away and goes,
Come on, let's finish this.
Do I see any rats in the sewers immediately?
yeah, there are rats scuttling back and forth.
I cast Speak with Animals.
You see this large, slightly very well-fed grey rat kind of scuttling by as you cast that. Kind of stops and glances at you as if it kind of felt something change.
Oh my god, you are so adorable. I'm Glut. Sorry, that might have came across as really insensitive actually. You look like a very strong and sturdy rat. It is very nice to meet you.
Well, you're not wrong.
So I'm Glut. Want to just say huge fan.
Of me, personally, or just rats in general?
Both rats in general and you. You're so charming.
You do go on.
You Glut's getting all blushing and they're so is there do you know the goings on in these sewers?
Oh, I know a thing or two about a sewer. I am a rat.
I bet you do, you clever little minx. So we are here because there's a evil, scary magic woman in this who's meant to be here. Have you seen this person?
There's an elderly woman just down the corridor. If you head down the flight of stairs, you'll come to a big hall, and I did see a very old woman there.
Oh, you are just delightful. I'm gonna reach into my pack and rip off a wee hunk of bread and give it to this rat and be like, I know you're so established here, but if you ever want to travel on the road and explore the world, when I'm leaving this way, you just let me know. Just think on it, my friend. Okay.
Well, that's very good. This is very fine bread. Just the other day, I was eating very low-quality food. It was the rotting carcass of my brother, and I thought I could do with a bite of bread. And here you are.
I hate when all that's left is rotting remains. I think that is the worst. That's why I always keep a backup loaf to my backup loaf. Try that in future. See however much food you think you need. Have 2 extra stockpiles of that food and you can't go wrong.
A backup rotting sibling? Now you're talking. And he goes, it's a pleasure to meet you. And starts to scamper away.
Guys, okay, that rat was so charming. It was so cute. But yeah, the scary magic woman is here. The rat said they only saw one though. I know we're expecting multiple, but they said down the stairs is a big hall where she is. So yeah, she's definitely down here, and it seems like she's on her own. But that rat was so cute. And you see Glut forlorn, just watching the rat just scurry away, hoping deep in her heart that she'll meet him again one day, but knowing, considering there's hundreds of other rats, the chances are very unlikely. All right, so do you guys all want to? You guys all want to go down together? Should we send Dogman first? I don't know how we tackle this situation.
Zell's gonna look over at Rabbit and be like, "What do you want to do? Do you want to go down alone first and then have us like kind of hang back, or do you want to just all go down together?"
Yes. We can all go down together, but if I die, it is not a shame upon me. I'm more than happy to die. It's just it's part of this life, that I've chosen.
I guess. You seem really okay with it though, like
You
almost
get
as if
vengeance.
you won't get vengeance if she kills you.
Well, if it looks like I am in trouble, you're more than welcome to land a few punches if you want to, but I think I'll be more than capable of dealing with this myself.
You just never know. But yeah, we're here. I've got arrows.
I'm gonna politely insist that I come with because I've also got a score to settle with this woman.
But we're all going. We're all going.
Yeah, but I want to.
So yeah, so we'll all head down together, all of us.
I'm gonna go first,
Okay.
and I'm gonna stomp down the stairs and like stomp.
As walk along the tunnel, there's kind of a stone parapet that runs along either side of the channel through which the sewage water flows. And after a little while, the just to your left, the tunnel branches off, and a staircase runs down into a larger chamber. There are two large kind of copper pipes pouring sewage water down into this chamber, and they flow around a little sort of island in the centre and go through a grate at the far end, creating a sort of area you can walk through in the centre. Looking down from the staircase, you can see the shape of Tatiana standing at the bottom, kind of hunched over her walking stick. She looks up and goes,
Well, you made it.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we did.
And you brought your friends.
Yeah, we
Yep.
did.
Ravik strides down and goes,
Well now, witch, I hear it is your twisted tongue that has woven a thread of misery around my family. She goes, Well now, I wonder if you can see reason. Perhaps.
and she like raises a hand as you see this kind of like flickering light kind of begin to like move around her palm, and he goes,
I see only reasons for you to choke in this water.
and he lunges forward and like swipes at her, and she goes, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" and like dodges as these huge claws like sweep through the air overhead. You see his arm is like transforming as it moves through the air, the fur kind of like rolling down along it, the muscles bulging as his body begins to expand. The shirt tears and shreds off of his shoulders as he bulges up to several feet taller than he was just a moment ago, his whole body suddenly bristling with dark grey fur, his claws lengthening to long blade-like appendages. He lashes out towards her, and she kind of like ducks out of the way, her body moving with surprising speed. She sidesteps him slightly. Can you all roll initiative?
Oh god.
And we are into combat. So at the top of the round, Ravik is just going to lunge a kind of wild haymaker towards the old woman standing directly in front of him. First one misses. Second one on a 19 lands. He lands a brutal kind of claw strike to the side of her face, and you see this kind of like dark purple blood spray out of her cheek as these claws like rake across the side of her face. She staggers back, takes 7 points of slashing damage. Ravik ends his turn, and Boglak is top of the round.
So, I am just going to duck back a wee bit and send an acid arrow at Tiana. Just third level. Oh, 16 to hit.
16 will just miss. That acid arrow streaks over her shoulder and then kind of like implodes on the wall behind.
Amazing. In that case, that'll be me.
Ending your turn then, Tatiana is up next. She is going to sort of shift her hands in the air between her and the werewolf and cast some kind of magical spell. You see a flickering kind of like pale sickly green light almost radiate out from her palm and strike towards the werewolf, who is going to on a 9 he's going to lose that save. You see Rabbit kind of like stagger slightly as his eyes kind of like roll back in his head for a moment, and his limbs seem to go a little bit more limp and kind of sort of flaccid around him as he sort of staggers and sways. You can see he's under some kind of effect as a result of that. And she turns and glances towards Boglak and goes,
That was a very, very bad mistake.
and she's going to end her turn there. And next up is Glute.
Alright, so after seeing that magic, Glut's just gonna think, like, how many helpless animals had to die for that spell? And they're gonna rage. And as part of that rage, I can move 1, 2, 3, and then I'll move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll move to here, and see when she cast that spell there, did she like say these like magic words as well as moving her hands?
Yeah, she kind of like whispered an incantation as she was casting it.
I want to ready an action. If she tries to cast a spell, I want to stop her by shoving my fist into her mouth.
So you're standing next to her, and if she tries to, you want to try and like cover her mouth or like block it.
I literally want to shove my fist into her mouth.
Okay, if that happens, you'll have to make a dexterity check based at a move against her, but we can absolutely do that.
Okay, and with that in my turn.
Exactly. Then next up is Zell. You've seen your companion Glute like run forward and then kind of like almost like just like line something up, but you're not quite sure what she's doing at this point.
Yeah, perfect. I'm just gonna move just slightly closer to the side. Oh wait, not in the water.
You can jump into the sewage if you want. I won't stop you.
No, she's already disgusted that we're in here, so she will not be jumping into the water. And she's gonna send 2 arrows down at the witch. First one is only a 15, so I assume that will miss.
From there, you'll have to move a little bit up because right now the werewolf is between you.
Nice. Okay. Well, then I'll just spend my whole turn moving to get closer. So, in fact, we'll go over here. Sorry, Boglach, I'm gonna go in front of you. Then Glute's in the way. This is difficult.
Glute is small, so you can shoot over Glute.
Okay, perfect. Well, yeah.
Tatiana will have a slightly higher AC because you're shooting over, like she's got partial cover, but you can still fire away.
Perfect. From here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well the first one was 15, so that
will
misses.
miss.
The second one is 26.
That will definitely hit. Even with
Perfect.
that partial cover.
Perfect. So she's aiming for the kind of like shoulder, arm area. And that is 10 damage, 10 piercing damage.
Beautiful.
And as a bonus action, I realised I should have done this at the start and forgot. I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark on her.
You cast that, and for the first time, you've never seen this before, she glances up at the little kind of like glowing green mark above her head and goes,
Very clever, Ranger.
and that's all she's doing there. Anything else you want to do?
Nope, that's me.
Ravit kind of like staggers, swaying, and then very weakly kind of like swings up one hand towards the hag. He lands his hit, but it is doing less damage than we'd like. He kind of like swings in his claws, and you can just see there's not that much force behind it. It's like the strength is draining from his body. He lands a little bit of damage, kind of just like clocking her around the side of the jaw. He spits out a little bit of purple blood, but that is all he is doing right now. Next up is Boglach.
I would like to cast Entangle. So it's within 90 feet of my choosing, I believe. From a point within range, so within 90 feet, which should be good. And it's a 20-foot square, so I'll do it so that the edge catches Tatiana. And I believe it's a strength check. Creature in the area when you cast a spell must succeed in a strength saving throw or be restrained. So it's a DC 15 strength.
She got a 10 plus 4 for 14.
So until the spell ends, Tatiana is, I believe, restrained. They can use their action to make a strength check against the spell DC, and on success they free themselves, or when the spell ends and its concentration up to 1 minute.
Beautiful.
Not too sure what. Well, yeah. I think once I've done that as well, I'll use Hidden Step as a bonus action, and Boglach will turn invisible.
As you turn invisible, the hag's eyes kind of like bulge, and she goes,
You dare to try and entangle one of the Wickerwood Coven?
and she is going to just vanish from the space around her. She just goes. You cannot
She
see her.
disappears,
Yes,
and that wasn't a spell. That was just.
that was not a spell.
Oh.
Is there anything to do with being restrained by the plants that stops it?
Sadly not.
Yeah. Boglach is. You can't see the look on Boglach's face because they are invisible, but they are getting it.
That is going to be the end of her turn. Next up is Glute.
Infuriated by this, Gloat is gonna wildly swing at where the hag was a moment ago.
You wing through the air, connect with nothing. The air is empty.
Gloat is gonna just scream, just a roar of frustration, and plunge their sword into the ground and just headbutt it. They're gonna headbutt the sword.
Ooh, you drive the blade down, headbutt the sword. You're going to take 6 points of slashing damage and 2 points of bludgeoning damage as you kind of like slam your head down into the sword.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna scream, just like a guttural, just like a hate-filled scream.
As that scream echoes around the chamber, Zell is up next.
Zell's got her bow drawn, kind of like ready, and she's just going to be quite light on her feet and like hop over here, just trying to like get a good vantage point with her back to the wall so she can like see where this woman's going to appear from.
Beautiful. Anything else you want to do, or are you just leaving it there?
No, leaving it there at the moment.
As you do that, Ravik kind of staggers around and goes,
Where is she? I almost had her.
and kind of like scrubs at his face. He's going to make a saving throw, and he does not pass it. He's still enfeebled and kind of like staggers around. He almost seems like kind of like in a drunken, kind of ill state here. Next up is Boglach.
I believe Boglach will reappear. So Boglach will reappear. Then I'm going to cast again. Well, I'm going to ready action. Boglach is going to cast Acid Arrow at 3rd level, but as that sort of arrow grows, is going to hold on to it, just keeping an eye out for if Tatiana reappears to fire it at when they do.
So is that a held action?
Held action to just trying to think of the wording, like fire Acid Arrow at Tatiana when they reappear. 10 range.
So a moment later, there is just kind of a twinkle in the air directly in front of you. For one moment, you almost catch this glimmer through the reforming shape of Tatiana in front of you of distant kind of purple starlit fields, clouds drifting across an endless sort of twilit void of the ethereal plane as Tatiana back directly in front of you, her long kind of like twisted purple nose inches from yours as you cast your spell. And that will be at disadvantage though because she is so close.
Oh, really?
And that's her ranged attack.
This one was a 25 as well, but disadvantage. Oh! 25 with disadvantage.
She like reappears and you just straight into her. What's the damage?
So the damage will be. So on hit, Tatiana is going to take 9 acid damage. That is terrible for 5d4.
9 acid
And,
damage.
At the start of their next turn, they're going to take 3d4 more.
Beautiful. Do you want to roll that
It's
just
gonna
now?
be- I don't know why it showed up as 17 in there. Confused. It's 9 damage. I don't know why it shows up in roll 20 like that. So yeah, 5 on top of that.
Beautiful.
End of his next turn.
That acid sprays out across her face, and she kind of like shakes her head back. Her skin kind of bubbling and roiling under the corrosion of the acid. Purple kind of ichor and goo pouring down out of her ruined skull-like face. You can see the remains of the sort of the pale old woman who you saw earlier kind of just flickers away entirely, leaving just this dark sort of purple skin with warts, boils and scars kind of lacerated all over every inch of it, although this is now being kind of the upper layer of skin is being burned away by the acid. Her bulging amber eyes glow at you as this night hag is very much kind of revealed as the last vestiges of the disguise kind of fade away. Is there anything else you want to do?
Yeah, oh no, that was just my action, so it's still.
Oh, that was just your reaction, of course.
Just my reaction.
In that case, her action was to ethereally return, so she is going to end her turn there. And next up is Glute.
Alright, I'm gonna move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna move to here, and I am then going to throw a javelin at the hag. So that is a 7, which is not great. And then I'll throw a second javelin, which is a 25 to hit.
That hits.
So that deals 7 damage, and I end my turn.
In that case, Zell is up. You've just seen the hag materialize back into space.
Perfect. Does she still have Hunter's Mark on her from before?
Yes, she does.
Perfect. Okay. So Zell is just gonna catch herself and send 2 arrows straight at the hag. The first one is a 15, which I assume will miss. Perfect. So that just kind of shoots off over to the side. And the second one is a 19.
And that will hit.
Perfect. So she's obviously behind her now, so it's going to go into her back. And that is... Hang on. 12 points of piercing damage.
12 points of piercing damage. As that she's kind of like bathing in that acid running down the front of her face, this arrow strikes into her from the back, kind of like pinning her between these 2 attacks. Anything else you want to do?
No, that's me.
Ravik is going to turn around, kind of like blinking, and charge. He's going to dash, which will easily get him over to the action. He's going to storm over, writhing up next to the hag. He's also going to make his check again. And this time, as he runs up, he kind of like shakes his head, takes a deep breath, and you can see the effect of that enfeeblement fading off him as he returns to full strength as he comes up alongside. That's going to be the end of his turn, and next up is Boglach.
Black is going to look towards the river of sewage next to them, but see that their escape route was cut off by the Lycan, so it's going to be like, oh, and jump straight into the sewer water and try and move away. I'll take the opportunity attack if needed.
Absolutely.
And just sort of make my way over towards where Zale is.
That's a 25 to hit.
I'll definitely hit.
And that is going to be 15 points of slashing damage as these claws come raking down into your back as you leap away, but you're able to wade through this like kind of waist-high sewage and up out the other side.
I did not expect that hard. Oh, in that case, I'm going to. I'll give it a go. Can I try and cast Hold Person as my action on the hag?
Absolutely.
So it'll be a Wisdom saving throw from Tatiana.
Actually, I know this is somewhat metagaming, but I think as someone who is well versed in magic, you would probably know that wouldn't necessarily work on a night hag.
Would it not?
Yeah. Well, Hold Person, it has to be a humanoid, right?
Ah, right. Fair enough. I mean, I feel like Boglach would give it a go, so don't mind if that's a wasted action because that's just how I rolled it.
Go for it. You cast that spell, and she kind of turns around, her bubbling, roiling purple skin kind of pouring away from her face as the rest of the acid damage sinks in, kind of looks at you and goes,
You'll have to try harder than that, Boglach.
Yeah. Boglach's just shivered down the spine, end turn.
In that case, she is going to. She will cast. In fact, no, she's going to use her claws again. She turns towards the werewolf standing next to her, and goes,
You should have known better.
and draws her claws up into the kind of the exposed chest area on Ravik. Sinks her claws in. That will be our 28 to hit, which absolutely hits. And that is going to be 13 points of slashing damage. Ravik stumbles, and you can see sort of blood welling up through the grey fur. She ends her turn, and next up is Glut.
Alright, Glut is gonna move 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6 to this angle, so she's like went round to sort of build up speed and build up momentum, and she is going to try and spear her and the hag into the sewage water.
If you want to try and make your attack like carry her over into the water, go for it, but then there'll be a strength contested athletics as well.
So I'm just going for like a rugby tackle basically. So
you're not trying to do damage?
I'm not trying to do damage. I'm just trying to like literally spear her off the little platform we're on into the water.
Beautiful. Let's just do contested athletics then.
Hell yeah. That is a 27.
No problem. As she is landing that attack on the werewolf, you're able to just like run up this little barrel figure storming towards her, and just boom, she is quite small as well, and you just carry her over, both of you crashing down into the water. You also have her grappled right now.
How deep's the water?
The water is about 3 feet deep.
3 feet deep. Okay, so can I when we're in the air, like, so I land on top of her then?
You've got a grapple, so you're both kind of like tangled together in the water. Neither of you is on top at the moment.
Okay, that's fine.
Beautiful. So right now you are both just tangled up in the water together.
And with that, I end my turn.
Fantastic. Then over to Zell.
Zell is gonna kind of like shoot round, obviously, hop out onto. Oh well, Glut's still holding her down, so I can still go over Glut, I assume?
Yeah, you can still shoot her from where you are.
Perfect. So yeah, she's just gonna send another 2 arrows over. First one is a 27 to hit.
That hits.
Second one is a 21 to hit, so they
Both
both hit. She's sending 2 arrows in quick succession, kind of like straight for the neck this time, or what she can actually hit. The first one is... Oh, no, wrong one. Sorry, I've pressed the wrong thing. The first one is 15 points of piercing damage, and the second one is 12 points of piercing damage. So both going for the neck this time, just shoo shoo.
She's looking pretty rough as these arrows strike in. This dark purple blood begins to flow out into the sewage water around her as her and Glute kind of like wrestle these arrows now springing out of her neck. Next up is Ravik, who is going to vault down into the water, kind of like sloshing down into the fray, and just begins to like rain blows down on her from above. He is going to attack, and his second attack will land for a decent wee bit of damage. You see this claw come like raking down into the water. The first one misses, it just kind of rolls to the side. The second one slams down, and a sort of fountain of purple blood sprays up out of her. She lets out a high-pitched scream. You can see she's starting to get pretty beaten up. Ravik ends his turn, and Boglach is up.
Amazing. I think Boglach is just going to... Yeah, I think Boglach is going to try and conjure animals, if that's possible.
Absolutely.
So Boglach is going to reach out to the Fey realm, and sort of, say, a creature of chaos from your realm wants to know good. I need warriors of nature and order to back me up. He's going to reach out and... Don't know, is this one of the ones where you have a ruling on what shows up, or I'm not quite sure on...
Swarms of rats.
Oh no, if you have...
we're in the sewers.
Do you have a list to choose from, or do you...
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah, so I think I'll try and... In that case, how deep's the water?
Water is about 3 feet deep.
Wouldn't quite fit that then. In that case, I'm going to instead summon... I think of something that can go into water. I mean, I feel like Boglach is trying to think of something better, and then maybe Glute screams out rats. And it's like looking to summon, like, I don't know, like crocodile or some fierce creature, and is instead going to summon 8 giant rats.
8 giant rats.
The challenge rating 1/8, so I think it's 8 of a quarter or lower. Yeah, I guess you have to say an action for them to do, so I guess that speech will just sum up like attack the creature. That's 8 giant rats just appear in the water around the lake.
Yes!
Boglach just looks totally unimpressed, and it's like, I always used to do that spell right. I always used to. It's a clear mind.
8 enormous rats kind of just flicker into reality around the mass of limbs writhing in the water. Glute, you kind of just glance up for a moment, blinking the sewage water from your eyes, and you just see like the quivering whiskers and pink nose of this like huge rat like lumbering over into the water.
Oh, Glute smiles a devilish smile. They have their prey in their arms, and they're surrounded by rats.
Boglach, do the rats make a move on your turn?
So I roll initiative for them, so I'm just getting their stat block up.
Nice.
I don't know if they'll have a bonus to initiative, but it's always worth checking.
I think a giant rat would probably be dexterous.
So would I add their dex modifier?
Yeah.
Ah, sweet. +2 then. So yeah, roll 2. So their initiative is going to be 19, so they act on initiative 19.
Very good.
Yeah, I think they basically just... Yeah, I'll drop the other spell, obviously, because this one's concentration. I think that's it.
Boglach,
commands... Yeah, sweet.
in that case, what was your initiative? Was your initiative 19 as well?
I think it was 18.
Was it 18? Cool. So they'll move just above
They
you.
still have to a while. And then I think Boglach wants to keep these things going for as long as possible. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He's going to just start running back. Like, I'm not running away. I'm just maintaining concentration. Elle, don't look at me like that. I'm not running away.
Tatiana drives her claws up into Glute and attempts an attack against Glute. That's a crit. That's 20 points of slashing damage as her claws drive up into your side. You feel this like burning pain going in, but of course you are raging as you feel that pain kind of slightly numbed. She sort of kind of draws you closer to her as she sinks her claws in and goes,
Even if I die, it will not be the last you'll see of me or my sisters.
as she lands that blow, and next up is Glute.
Well, as she says that, I go, and I can't wait to fucking kill you again. And I'm gonna grab either side of her head and just plunge her head underwater. And I'm gonna start moving my hands up her head because I want to go for the old thumbs in the eyes trick.
Beautiful. You like drive her down into the water. Do you want to make an unarmed attack to try and get the fingers into the eyes?
Yeah, that's a 17.
That will do it. That's her AC. You get your hands around her head and start like pressing your fingers into her eyes. Just roll damage for that.
Just unarmed strike damage.
Yeah.
Then that's just 4 damage.
You see sort of purple blood begins to bubble out from under your fingers as you press down under the water. Her face is kind of like partially lost amid like the swirling water, but you can just see that plume of purple coming up.
Because that's like an attack, could I try that again then? Like another attack? Because I get 2 attacks a turn?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Second one is a 19. So
That
that's
hits.
another 4 damage.
You sort of press down and then with renewed vigor press down even harder, and she's like writhing, clawing at the water, but blood pouring out as you begin to gouge into her eyes. End of your turn. Zell is up.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of difficult now because there's all these giant rats in the way.
Zell,
The beautiful rats.
if you step out onto the rats in the water are like a little bit lower because they're in the water, so you can shoot
Oh,
over
nice.
them still.
Okay. This time, obviously, she can't really aim for the head because it's underwater. The first one is only a 15 to hit, so that just maybe fires harmlessly into the water beside her. And the second one is a 26.
Totally hits.
So that one, she kind of changes it and goes for the body, so that she's got a better chance of hitting it, and that is 8 points of piercing damage.
8 points of piercing damage. You're kind of aiming for that area where the purple is flowing up. You just fire in it, another arrow sprouts out. She lets out a muffle from like under the water, as the rats are kind of like lumbering in, almost like drawn in by the scent of blood. Anything else you want to do, Zell?
No, she's just watching in morbid fascination about what these rats are gonna do.
Ravik is going to swing. And that's miss, and that's second one hits. He brings his claws down again. Her body is moving much less agilely now. She's like kind of like ducking and writhing a bit, but it's like the strength is going out of her limbs as the life begins to leave her body. She is still alive. Next up is the rats. What do they do, Bogba?
I mean, they're fey creatures that have taken on the form of giant rats, I believe. Which maybe they're not best pleased about, but yeah.
But Glute is, and that's the main thing.
It was mainly for that Boglak did it. I guess the order was just feed this creature chaos, so I guess they would attack.
Roll to attack.
How does it work?
Well, you have 8 giant rats, so I roll for the first one.
Also get pack tactics, which is that the rat has advantage on an attack roll against a creature if at least one of the rat's allies is within 5 feet of the creature.
And I love these rats. I want to say I fucking love these rats.
I just want to check this spell is working how I feel it should work.
I'm pretty sure this is how it works.
It seems pretty full on.
Good.
Okay, so the first rat, which is named Terry, Fae from the Fae realm, is going to
Terry the Fae.
Guess attacks was +4 to
Terry,
hit.
Jerry.
It's all a pack of fey fairies that are just like all fairy something. I mean, do I just do?
Yeah, just roll plus their attack modifier.
Is 12 for the first hit.
That one will
Gonna
miss.
Terry's not doing a good job for sure.
Terry's rubbish.
Next up is was it Terry or Jerry? One of them. The other
Terry
one.
Terry was first. Jerry can be second.
So that one is going to 20 to hit.
That hits.
What's
the damage?
Be, 5 from the first one.
She was in 4 health.
Really?
Jerry how does Jerry
was
do
it?
it?
Jerry? Jerry or Terry? I think they look at each other.
Jerry.
Like, I'm Jerry. And it's like, no, I'm Jerry. And they're kind of, one's being cheeky and the other one's kind of like getting very serious. And I don't know, one of them just screams out, no, I'm Jerry. And it's just going to like snout fully into like, I don't know, like brush up against glue and then just right through the face.
You just kind of feel this whisker brushing against your cheek for a moment. You turn and you just see this open-jawed rat plunging down, its mouth kind of engulfing the face of the hag, and then just
I like to think
away.
In that moment, because I feel like the whisker, I like move my hands from her eyes, grab the back of her head, and help shove it into the rat's mouth.
Almost like load the rat's mouth up. You're just like shoving this body up as the huge rat jaws close around the head of the hag. The hag like writhes and twists, and then there is a putrid smell of sulfur that fills the air. The smell almost like burning hot metal and stone. Gas, noxious, fills your nose, and her body vanishes as a sort of crumbling black soot that sort of pours down out of the rat's mouth, and it goes spits it out, and she is no more.
Boglach is going to walk forward and say, done a great service taking down this chaotic fae. Thank you, Terry, Jerry, Kerry, Perry, Berry, Very, Mary, and Ferry.
They all look at you and go, do they then dissipate?
I'm just shocked that we're alive.
No!
I said that out loud.
No! No! And Glut just starts like pounding their fist on like the stone. It's like, no!
What's wrong, Glute?
The giant rats! Giant rats.
Time on this plane was brief, but to see the joy that they brought to you is...
Oh, you need to bring them
Rewarding
back. Not right now, but that can't be the end.
Ravik drags himself up to his feet, covered in sewage water and like blood dripping down from his chest, and goes, "Thank you."
I think you might have underestimated her.
To be honest, I might have.
Yeah, you might have.
You have my thanks. Perhaps when we go back to the others, you let me explain what happened.
we'll see.
We'll see how that goes. I don't want you bigging yourself up there because, no offense, but we really did the lion's share of that.
You did, and I thank you. I thought, some old witch, what can she do against me? But that first...
Tried to tell you.
Yes.
He's kind of like shaking. You can see as he kind of like transforms back into his human form. He looks incredibly like pale and washed out. He goes, "Let's go back. Get some fresh air. This place is putrid."
Yeah, okay, let's go. Zell hates the sewers.
As we're leaving, do I see the plump rat on my way out?
Yeah, he's standing at the top of the stairs, kind of like nose quivering, and his little paws like together like that. He goes,
I'm just gonna I'm gonna cast speak with animals and go, look, you've got a good gig here. The evil magic lady's gone, but I hope you've had a chance to think. you want to come with, or are you happy here? I'm gonna hold out my hand for them.
Oh, an invitation to a life of adventure on the road. Could I resist? And he like springs forwards into your palm.
Yes! Gloat is gonna pop the little rat on their shoulder and just like, and when I mean like just like yes, like the entire way just out of the out of the tunnel.
You guys head back towards the tunnel entrance as you're approaching the exit out into the moonlit beach beyond. The four werewolves kind of like stand up to attention as the leader walks forward and goes, "No problem at all, no problem at all. You know, that old hag thought she was gonna get a fast one over the likes of me. I don't think so. Ravik of the clan is not so easily, but you know what though, I have to say, there were a couple of moments when she might have had a drop on me. You know, she was acting very dishonorably, using dark magic, the kind of thing I don't go in for. And these folk here, well, let me tell you, I'm glad I had them with me.
Uh-huh.
But for the most part, no bother, let's go. We've got a happy reunion to witness.
Zelle's like shaking her head to herself, but she's also like knows better than to kind of like tell a different tale of events because this is his pack, so we'll just believe him anyway.
Oh, the other werewolves all kind of like nod slightly. You see there's a slight air of like disappointment in them as they see their leader like rejoin their ranks, and they sort of draw back into their usual position, walking behind him as you guys step back out. This rat kind of like scrambles up onto your shoulder, Gloot, and goes, "So, where are we off to?"
Oh, see that scary lady?
Yes?
Yeah, we're gonna make her fucking day a whole of a hell lot worse. Apparently, she's part of like some sort of evil witch gang. And we're gonna fucking tear their throats out.
I assume though Gloot's talking in like rat, so we don't.
Yeah, Gloot's kind of like chirruping into this rat's ear. Yeah. Oh, well, just make me one promise. After you've killed them, if there's any remains, let me feast on them.
Oh, I'll give you a counterpoint.
Oh?
How about we share?
You see the two of your the Gloot and this little rat just like chirping and giggling to each other, walking at the back of the group as you guys head back up through the moonlight away from the beach. Getting up onto the road, you can see Castle Lochilven and the town laid out behind you, the dark walls lit by a few lamps moving slowly along as the watchmen patrol their nightly beats. But the town of Lochilven seems peaceful as you leave it, quiet and for the time being safe.
Zelle's gonna kind of say to Boglach as they walk along, like, I am so glad to be leaving that place.
I think we should go back and make sure the
No!
Bitterstone is.
No! Never!
What about, I mean, I
We're
never
going
got
back.
to. I never got to ask
No,
Leland
I want
about that thing.
I want to see the reunion. I'm here for the reunion.
I'm with
I'm
Zell on
not
this
sure.
one.
I'm not sure I put a stamp on that letter to the postcard. Maybe we should go back.
Nah,
to Chile.
Well, send another one from the next town we go to.
I'm pretty sure you did.
I think so, but maybe we should go back and
No.
Gloat has no idea what they're talking about, but Gloat also does not want to go back. So they're like, yeah, no, I'm 100% sure you did.
2v1, no.
Okay.
You guys, after democratically deciding to
Lochilven
leave,
could literally Lochilven could literally like explode in a big mushroom cloud behind them, and Zell would still be like, I'm not going back.
I love that Zell has just gone from being like, oh, there's something's going on, we need to save this town, we need to take on this hag, to being like, fuck this place.
I hope you know what, I
Never
will
go
put
back.
those powder barrels back in the sewer and blow this place up.
Just want to go now.
Well, did Zell
Been
know
here
though
for
that-
ages.
How did Zell know though that Loins of the Pirate King is back in the bloody plane? Or
Turns around.
That is
I
the one
borrowed
thing
it
she
for
would
some
go
late
back
night
for.
reading and forgot to put it back in the bag.
She's gonna like at the next tavern, she's gonna like go into her bag and be like, what? No! No!
Boglack doesn't even want to go back. He's just like, I need to pick that book up. I know how much Zell likes it. And it's like, maybe we should check Bitterstone. Maybe we should.
Fall to our knees. No.
You guys set
Anyway.
off along with Ravik back on the roads, heading east away from the town. You know that if you follow this road, it will take you back to Valach, and beyond there, the rest of the Calarian Highlands. You know that you have business awaiting you in the capital city of Dunarden. But as you go along, Ravik leads you off the roads, through a stand of trees, through the forest, and to a small clearing a little off the road, where you see that the rest of the werewolf pack have made camp. There's a small fire flickering in the centre, and the werewolves are kind of lounging around. Although they are human, the way they lie and kind of like luxuriate around the area, the clearing kind of almost is reminiscent of wolves stretched out in the den at night. You kind of take this in standing at the edge of the clearing, and you see in the middle of it Camellia hunched down by the fire, looking very kind of like drawn, very sort of distracted, her eyes flickering from the flames up to the trees around, back down. At that moment, as you arrive, you hear movement in the trees beyond, and one of the watch, the sentries, like jumps up, kind of peers out, lets out a low growl, and then kind of like sits back down as you see Padrick and a small hooded figure step out of the tree line. Camellia rises to her feet, and there's a moment of just kind of like they're totally frozen. They're just standing there on either side of this flickering fire, the light cast up onto their faces. You see these two large kind of lit eyes in the hoods as Rona sees her mother again, her eyes widening. There's a pause, and then Rona just starts sprinting across the clearing, like vaults around dangerously close to the fire, the hem of her cloak kind of catching the flames, and just barrels into her mother, her arms like pressing around her mother's knees. Padrick kind of like staggers forward, almost not believing what he's seeing, throws his arm around his wife, and you see the three of them just stand there, lit by the flames, the werewolves sitting around them quietly, just holding each other for a moment. Rabbit turns around and goes, "My family owes you a great debt. Know this. If you are ever in trouble, you come to the Cairnbarra Hills. I will help you in whatever way I can. This is a debt I cannot pay, but I can try."
Thank you. It's just lovely to see the family reunited.
He nods and he kind of steps away. And as you look over, you notice that as the family is standing there, but the little figure of Rona has disappeared. She's like slipped away from that reunion. And a moment later, Boglach, you feel this little kind of like tug on your sleeve. And you all look down to see Rona is now standing like directly in front of you. She looks up and goes, "Did you kill them all?
Oh god.
Did you kill them all?
Yeah.
Or did they die?"
So there was this one that I threw off of a 60-foot castle wall and exploded in the ground.
I shot a I was gonna say Zell interrupted me like I shot a Goliath through his eye socket.
Did it burst out?
Well, the eye was actually already melted away by acid, so.
I ripped one's face in half like that way, like his jaw came off. I killed so many of them.
Good.
Yeah, I stabbed a lot of them. There was a lot of stabbing going on.
Yeah,
Anyway,
like licks her lips slightly.
we promised we'd get your mother back, and look, see,
Yes, you did.
didn't even worry about
That's
it.
the most important thing.
No, the most important thing is that we killed all those people.
No, the most important thing is that we reunited the family.
She
And Zell's gonna
nods.
look a little bit sad when she says that.
She looks up at you and goes,
My family is reunited now, and a bloody vengeance has been wreaked upon those who would dare raise a hand against the Lycan. Thank you.
and
I
this
was
little
going
girl
to kneel
like,
down and go, how old are you?
10.
10. Okay.
It's going to be an issue in about, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 years. You're going to be a real issue in this region. So,
Rona, I have a
Thank
gift
you.
for you.
Oh?
And I'm gonna unsheath diplomacy and hand it to Rona.
Rona's eyes are like focused on Boglach, trying to like make a salient adult point here, and then her eyes just like gradually move over Boglach's shoulders towards the sword that's coming out. Is diplomacy your great sword?
Diplomacy is my great sword, but it was a gift to me. But now I have my bigger sword, which I feel is even better suited for me. So I feel like the best thing the Glut can do is gift it to someone who she sees having great potential of for warrior.
Her eyes just light up, they widen, and she reaches out, grabs the handle, and goes, "Thank you." And then like the whole sword just like tips onto one side, and she's like holding it like that as it like lands in the earth, and she goes, "Thank you." And then slowly starts like dragging it away slowly back towards her family, this huge blade stretched out. You look into that glade, and you see the flames flickering around the werewolves, the family holding each other, the small girl walking resolutely back towards the flames, silhouetted, this enormous blade clutched in one hand, her shadows stretched out long behind her across the ground. And you turn away from the flames, step back into the night, knowing that you have a long road ahead of you before the way to Dunarden opens up. And you leave the werewolves, you leave the family that you saved, and we leave our heroes here as their journey goes on to new adventures. Beautiful. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Let's go, baby!
Yay!
Thank you for a lovely session, and yeah, well done. You saved most of the people in the town.
Killed Tatiana. That poor orc guard gonna be looking for Tatiana, and she's dead now.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
out
real
there.
victim.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching along, especially those of you who have jumped in the first episode, stuck through to the end. I think this is probably going to be the first of many adventures and one-shots and mini-campaigns that we run on the channel. As always, artwork for the campaign was created for the characters by Jessica Bowen, music by Nerdiest Maximus Studios, the maps made with Incarnate. Huge thank you to Louis, Sarah and Cal for making this such a fun experience for me to DM, and thank you to everyone who watched, and we will see you again soon, I hope.